Hello and welcome to On the Esky. The boys are back. I've got Peppy and Monkey to my left.
Yo, yo.
And we've got a new addition on this end of the table. Macca has come along to join us. Hello, Macca.
Hello,
welcome
boys.
to the table.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for dragging me along. Fellow sports nuffy.
Yeah.
Just wanted to come on.
Good
have some
nuffy.
chat.
Good nuffy.
Yeah, fair nuffy. I think I rate my nuffiness up there, actually.
Yeah, I was just to say possibly you might be more nuffy than all three of us, but we'll see how we go.
That's one way or the other, a good thing or a bad thing. But
Tell us a couple of things about you, what sports you like, favourite teams, etc., etc.
Sports, anything with a ball, even things without the ball.
Yeah.
I'm quite a big wrestling fan as well, actually. I'm just thinking about the top of my head.
Yeah, that's I don't know about that.
Well, sport, I don't know. Yeah.
Sports entertainment. Sports entertainment.
Massive Western Bulldogs fan in the AFL. That's where the love of sport sort of started. Played at Aussie rules for the best part of 20 years. Big Baltimore Ravens fan as well.
Yep, condolences.
It's been a big couple of years, man. It's been a big couple of years. Big Yankees fan. I know you boys aren't big on the baseball. Big Yankees fan. Big Lakers fan.
Yep.
I seem like a real homer with that stuff, but when you're 13 and you've got Foxtel for the first time, Lakers and Yankees are pretty much all that's on TV.
Yeah.
So
Yankees, Lakers.
that's what you watch. Love my cricket. Big Man United fan.
Yep.
Um,
Rugby league.
Melbourne Storm fan, but yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, we've got Yankees, Lakers.
Yeah, I know.
Storm.
Yeah, like
There's a trend here.
I did.
United.
Every year I put on a multi with all my teams, just the max multi if you would. And last couple of years, I've looked pretty good at the start of the year, and then the Ravens just ripped my heart out in early January. So then,
True.
Yeah,
Forevermore.
yeah. But no, other than that, I'm a school teacher, so I've had the last 6 weeks off. Watched about as much sport as I can.
Yeah, should be all over us.
Yeah, so COVID nearly ruined my school holidays. I nearly had to talk to my missus and actually do stuff around the house. So thank God we've looked after ourselves. And excited. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having me. And
welcome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
How you boys doing?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm actually on bloody cloud nine over here. Had family dog run away
Winston.
yesterday, nearly 24 hours. Done the Harold Holt. We got him back early this afternoon. Might have shed a tear.
It's okay, mate. It's all right to cry. It's
Real
real
man.
It's a good dog.
Real men cry, especially when about man's best friend. But no, he's back home safe and sound and heading away for my Bucks party tomorrow, which I am
out.
50% excited for, 50% scared to shit on. So, yeah, should be good.
Ratio.
Should be good. Morale's up. Yeah.
Yep.
How's your week been, Monkey?
Yeah, good. Busy with work. Haven't
Yeah.
been able to catch up with as much sport as I wanted to, but I'm sure I'll catch up tonight.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the listeners are about to catch up.
Yeah.
Shout out to everyone that has subscribed in the last week. It's been a big week for On the Esky. I think after only 4 shows that we've actually recorded now in our studio, there is a few practice ones back in the vault on YouTube. No point going back there. I wouldn't suggest. But everyone's got to start somewhere.
How
Sean?
diehard are you of a fan?
That'll be the real test.
Now your ears will bleed, so lucky your eyes can't in those ones. Sean, what are we covering today?
Well, we're going to have a look at the cricket, and we're going to have a look at all the test series that are happening at the moment. Very interested to see how India is going to do, and with Kohli back in the side, what that side's going to look like, and especially coming off up against an England team that's come off a really good series against Sri Lanka. Then, of course, there's Australia playing, going to have a series against South Africa in a couple of weeks. Then, of course, Big Bash League. We're going to look at all the finals and the top 5 teams in their playoff bracket. Then, of course, there's the big NFL finish of the playoffs in the Super Bowl. We'll look at the teams and how they're looking and the results from the games during the week, plus all the news stories of that. There's NBA, there's big UFC. We'll talk about 257 and how McGregor did or did not do in that fight against Dustin.
Hey, shout out to you. You were saying flip of a coin at this when the bookies had McGregor at $1.30. So a little bit of an inside scoop there from
they had the Dustin at 320.
Yeah.
So,
and you were saying coin flip. So
I was saying get on that money, get on Dustin. So
yeah. Good call. Good call.
And then of course a little bit of Olympics, a little bit of EPL, NBA. Some stories in the NRL, AFL as well, and whatever else it was happening in the last week. It's a big week.
Better get stuck into it then.
Yes. And I think, as we said, we'll start off with the cricket. So First up, I guess India return home very much as heroes. Very much the big welcome there. You can see all the people turned out for them. Despite COVID.
What COVID? COVID's a myth.
Yeah, there's no COVID in India. It's all good.
That was in inverted commas there, just for anyone there. So of course, India's back home after their second consecutive win against Australia here. They take on an England side coming off a 2-0 series win against Sri Lanka. First test to start February 5. The sides have been announced. Going to be 4 test series, 2 in Chennai, 2 in Ahmedabad. And much to the joy, I guess, of the Indian fans, guys like Kohli and actually Hardik Pandya and Ishant Sharma are going to be in the squad. Ashwin and Bumrah should be back from their injuries, and the debutants that did well in Brisbane, especially with the bat, Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur retained their spots. I think poor Natarajan missed out. I think he might be omitted / net bowling.
Is Punt still in the team? Or?
Punt's still there.
They got a really young, nice core.
Scary
guys
depth.
coming through.
Yeah, their depth, as we were speaking about last week, is very scary. It'll be interesting to see how the Poms go over there. 4 tests followed by 5 2020s, 3 ODIs. We'll be keeping a close eye on that in the coming weeks.
It's a quick turnaround.
Isn't it? Yeah. Not too much time to party.
Yeah.
I think in India's just going to dominate. That's my feeling. I think if Ashwin's back, he's going to get massive amounts of turn on those decks. And Joe Root's been playing unreal for England.
Yeah. Well,
he's got almost 400 runs in the last 2 test matches.
2 tests. They came essentially from 2 innings. That big 220 in the last test, 186 in this one. Which England,
against Sri Lanka, though, who aren't saying you're elite top 5 of cricket.
No,
they're
of course not.
on the precipice. They're not
in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, they're not West Indies or
we'll get to that.
or Afghanistan or any of those kind of guys that are coming up. You know, in the bottom kind of tier tests, they're sort of in that middle and haven't really reached to the upper echelons. So I'd say the top 5. India, South Africa, England, Australia, and New Zealand's probably floats into that.
Yep, probably Pakistan. Sri Lanka's probably about 7th.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's never easy to win on foreign turf. Sri Lanka bat first. They made 381 in that. Angelo Matthews, a skip, turned up. Our second favourite, Dick Weller, he had 92. Sorry, Hard Dick. You're obviously our number one Dick. Jimmy Anderson still doing it at his ripe old age.
6 for 40. That's.
Can we get that? Jimmy Anderson, what do you reckon? 36, 37?
It's something.
I know,
late 30s.
It's him and Broad 1 and 2 for English wicket takers, and then Daylight.
Yeah.
They've had the 2 best bowlers ever, essentially being the attack at the same time over the last decade.
Yeah, exactly right.
You got that there, Jimmy the Chinaman? Yeah.
Jimmy the Chinaman, Jimmy the Pom.
38. Jimmy the Chinaman,
38.
Jimmy the Pom. 38. Taking 6 for in tropical conditions at the age of 38.
We're in Brady territory there.
Yeah, he's starting to get that way.
He's young, Brady.
He's only got to play another 5 years and make another 10 Super Bowls and he'll be there.
So, he debuted in 2003 against Zimbabwe.
03.
Yep. 613
Everyone's
caps.
just checking their own age now.
Yeah.
613 caps. As in he's played 613 tests.
No, 600 wickets.
No,
okay,
600
wickets. Yeah.
No. He's 613th player for England.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How many wickets does he have? He must have been 500 odd.
Easy.
Wickets?
I'll say
606.
606. So it's right on that. Yeah.
Test,
600. Yeah.
So you'd imagine his wickets will overtake his cap number there. England in return had 344. Joe Root, as aforementioned, had 186, over half their runs. Young bloke, I'm going to struggle here, but I'm going to give it a try. Lasith Mbuldanina. Let's go with that.
Close enough.
737, only his 9th test, left arm ortho, picking up 7. Yeah, not bad. Unfortunately, not enough to get Sri Lanka home in that one. The other international cricket that's going on at the moment, Pakistan playing the Saffers in Pakistan. So obviously great to see Test cricket in Pakistan. What is it? They're Northern Hemisphere, so I suppose it's winter.
Yes. It's not Northern Hemisphere.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. So I think
geography lessons on the Esky.
Geography lessons on the Esky is probably better than our maths lessons. Well, equator runs through Indonesia and halfway through the Indian Ocean. So, Pakistan well into the northern hemisphere there.
Is it northeast of India, or am I going the wrong way?
Northwest,
yeah.
Northwest.
It's the other way.
Yeah.
China's the other way.
It's probably one thing I can do better than, than my sports show.
Sounds like we actually do need a bit of geography.
A little bit of geography lesson, yeah. Anyways, so it is nice to see Test cricket there for the second winter in a row. What happened?
Winter.
Oh,
It's on right now.
they should be playing literally right now. So South Africa batted first, 220, probably a little bit unders. Dean Elgar, 58. Yasir Shah, 3 for 54. Pakistan go out, 379 all out. They were 4 for 27.
Shit, who came in at 6?
4 for 27. A bloke called Fawad Alam had 109. Azhar Ali had 51. But it was sort of a Pujara-esque 51.
Yeah, I was gonna
had to
say,
eat
how
up
many
a lot of
rocks?
balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
The Aussies need that.
how's this for a toe wag? I did the maths earlier, so we didn't have to do it live. So the bowlers, 8 through 11, 147 runs,
No, it's a
if
wag.
you don't mind. Ashraf,
wagging.
64, Hassan Ali, 21, Naman Ali, 24, and Yasir Shah, 38 not.
Jeez, he is hopeless with the sticks.
Yeah, so I don't know what's happened there. And like the Saffers have got like Rabada and like I don't think there's anyone unavailable to them.
Inkini, is it?
Yes, yeah.
I was looking, because I checked the game just before coming
Safford
here.
bowlers there.
Nothing, and it's because we're playing them next, so I've obviously got my Aussie cap on.
Yeah.
Nothing about the Safa lineup scares me.
Oh, you'd be licking your lips looking at that.
You think about AB de Villiers, Jacques Callis, Graham Smith, Hashim Amla, and then, Dale Steyn, Vernon Philander, the great Andre Nell.
Yeah.
Like, they all played in the team together.
Yeah.
And that, like, I thought they were the best team ever. And that doesn't seem too long ago. I mean, Elgar, he's handy. Markram, he could do anything. Fafs. And then Rabada. The Cock's elite. Other than that, but again, look, we just lost to teenage, Teenage Indians. But again, on to the next one. But
so Rabada and Ngidi. And who's the other?
Maharaj, is that tweaker? Is he still in the team?
Maharaj, is a tweaker. And Nordici.
Exactly right.
We'll have to do it. Well, I'm sure when we're playing him,
He'll take 8 poles and then we'll know him.
We'll be all over it. That continues there. I think the last time I checked, the Saffers were about none for 40. So see if they can make a game out of that one. That does lead me into a little correction that we should make. Last podcast, I incorrectly stated that I thought India might have been the first team to go back-to-back in Australia since the West Indies. Completely forgot about South Africa in that team that we've mentioned before with Smith, Amla, de Villiers, and that ripping bowling attack spearheaded by Dale Steyn. So they actually have done us 3 times in a row in Australia. So
3 times in a row.
3 times in a row, yeah. So back to back to back. 16-17, they beat us 2-1. That included an innings loss at Bellarive. I'm sure we'll just all erase that from our memory.
I don't remember that happening.
No,
we bowled India for 36. Let's talk more about that.
Yeah, let's talk
half of
more
that a bit
about that. Vernon Philander and Kyle Abbott absolutely destroyed us in that one. Yeah, household name there. November 2012 was a 3-game series here, 2 draws, but Safa's got it 1 love with the win in Perth. Big tons from Amla and de Villiers. I do have recollection of that.
Getting big tons in Perth is pretty impressive.
Yeah, but as mentioned last week, I think it's the similarities in conditions. They are kind of used to those quicker, bouncier
Absolutely.
decks. Yeah, as opposed to say your subcontinental teams or even England and New Zealand. And then going way back to 08-09, South Africa beat us 2-1, and that was Graham Smith.
That was the
JP Duminy and AB. That was probably AB de Villiers sort of coming out as a real force to be reckoned with in Test cricket. They had bulk runs in that series, so we haven't actually beaten them at home for quick maths 16 years. 05-06. And that was in a series where Ricky Ponting was just getting absolute leather poisoning, scoring bulk runs, and Bradley Hodge had a double ton. Yes.
And then may not have shut in Ricky Ponting's kit bag. The rumour is still floating out there.
I think that's a story. I haven't heard it.
I haven't heard it
Allegedly, that's our favourite word here. Allegedly,
swing that around. It's always tough with the South Africans because it's always a 3-test series. They come here in October. We go there in February, March.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine having the Saffers for 4 tests.
It'd be awesome.
It'd be brilliant. But then they miss out on their Boxing Day test. We're never not playing at the MCG on Boxing Day.
That's right.
We're not going to go to South Africa, or we're not going to go to New Zealand we're never going to really.
It's funny
have a real Ashes or India affair of this.
When we get stuck into other cricketing nations, i.e. your Indies or England, about them being stubborn and controlling the way they things want to. Oh no, cricket on Boxing Day in Australia, get fucked. You know what I mean? But shout out to Yash Patil on YouTube for pointing that one out to us. We needed to have a little history lesson there. I'm sure, as you listeners know, us Aussies love to delete losses out of our brain when we do lose, especially at home.
Yeah. What was the recent series? I forgot now.
That one will be erased from our minds, I'm sure.
Do you want to talk about these touring teams for both the T20 and the Australian series in South Africa?
Yes. I can get that going.
You got it there, Monkey?
We've got like
in the meantime, while you get that one up, we had mentioned the West Indies before. They have just got smoked 3-0 by Bangladesh in an ODI series. I was looking at that West Indian side, and
how many blokes did you know?
There was a Holder, but it's not Jason Holder. So I recognise the surname.
Yeah.
Like a donut. I recognise.
Timo Roach still.
I didn't see him. I didn't see him in there.
I think all their best players
just played 2020s.
Exactly.
Don't they?
Yeah. There's a lot of. I believe the stories. There's a lot of corruption over there with the
alleged corruption.
And the problem with it, it's the West Indies, which is a collection of different countries.
It's patriotism.
Not exactly. It's not an actual country. So there's also the corruption then in the allegedly in the different organisations that run that they have want their own slice of piece of pie and stuff like that. So the blokes themselves individually, they're like, hey, I can make shitloads of money all over the world just touring around doing 220. So they do that. Yeah,
and I'm glad you mentioned that because I think the patriotism is maybe worth mentioning, but I'm sure if the money's right, you'll play for Wakanda. So it's dying. And you talk to our parents, and the West Indians were feared. In the 80s and early 90s, and now they're just about the laughing stock, at least in Test cricket and now even in ODI cricket.
They'd be much better if they get their best players playing for them.
Yeah, of course.
Their best 11 is
good.
Matches up, but again, why am I playing? Why am I playing for them when I'm making millions of dollars?
Yeah, exactly.
Having a hit particularly in Bangladesh or wherever,
Money talks.
Yeah. They don't have like a proper domestic competition. Their equivalent to the Sheffield Shield is like 7 different things.
Yeah.
So how do you understandably where it's gone wrong, but they clearly, they had that big, the 80s and the early 90s.
And they've just never recovered.
They just dropped the ball. Yeah. Like they didn't harness that properly. Funds didn't go where they had to go. Corruption, allegedly. But it's sad to say.
It is sad.
Because even your Brian Lara, Shiv Chandapur.
Yeah, like even the teams that we were watching as real youngsters, they were good.
Shane Warne cricket, West Indies with
99. They were good, man. That was like a back end of Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh and big Carlos Hooper getting around. Like, they were still good.
Chills thinking about that.
Yeah, they were still good.
7-year-old Joe sitting in his.
Yeah. Anyways, I think as well they're losing a lot of guys to other sports. I think there's a lot of West Indians that are playing soccer. There's starting to become a bit of a West Indian presence in the NFL and NBA. A lot of Jamaican-born guys coming through in the NFL. A few Haitian, not that that's a bad example because Haitians don't play cricket. Yeah. But you are seeing the rise of American sport in the West Indies as opposed to back in the day where it all was English sport.
I don't want to say they're hunting the money, but they're big money sports versus, like you're saying before, the 7 different cricket leagues as a comparison to Sheffield Shield that probably pay absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's just like, if I'm a big big-bodied bloke and I've got plenty of athletic ability. I was like, well,
as they always seem to be.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I'm not being wasted standing out at fine leg for 8 hours on Saturday. I'm looking at the beach. No, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym and try and sprint, become a sprinter or something.
Yeah, get buckets and boards.
Right. Let's have a look at this. Is the T20 team. Do you want to get the test team as well,
Yeah,
James?
so co-current tours. That I believe that means 2 at the same time.
Parallel.
All over it.
Something like that. So Australia's going to New Zealand for T20s and Australia's going to South Africa for tests. We will cover this Australian T20 team. If you just don't mind scrolling down on that one. Finch retains captaincy after a mediocre, that's probably too
Career.
strong.
Yeah. he was dreadful.
How deep do you want to get an Aaron Finch?
He was dreadful at the Big Bash League.
Yeah, it really needs some runs. Obviously not going to affect his captaincy.
I think he averaged 13.
13, yeah, I believe it was
Series.
13.
Or 13 points something. We'll give him a few extra.
Yeah, we'll round him up 14. He'd be dying for some runs. Obviously has led Australia at T20 and ODI level
Team of the decade.
for a long time. Yes, in that ICC T20 team of the decade. So as an Aussie fan, hoping Finchy can get some runs over there in New Zealand. Would you say he's in Australia's top 6, top 7 batsmen at the moment?
Well,
at T20?
if I was picking the top 11 on form, I wouldn't pick him. Because I'd be
You
looking.
wouldn't open with him, no. Current open, we've got too
Like,
many good top orders.
yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
depth-
Because
a lot of depth
you've got so much
opening.
depth. You go like Wade, who averaged over 30. Got Philippe in there. McDermott, Short, Maxwell,
So
Steiner.
there's
the top
6 bats.
There's a
Yeah.
top
There's
6
6
right there.
bats. And
So-
the way T20 works, you need your runs from your top 4, really.
Yeah.
You need them
Yeah.
to get off to a quick start. You need them to go. Finch going, he'll get a 50 every now and then from 40 balls. The way international T20s are, you need to go out
You want to score
crap out
200.
from the start. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. So
10 and over. Like.
it's not one day cricket where you need the anchor, and he has been very good at that. He's the anchor, and you run a ball 100s are very effective one day cricket. T20, it's just you've got 120 balls,
Hit and giggle.
Yeah.
Hit and giggle.
especially when you've got, like you said, those
That hitting to
6
come.
blokes behind you.
Well, let's go through the rest of that side. Matthew Wade, vice captain,
Yep.
and also got the wicket keeper there next to his name. There's a few other blokes in this side that can keep. Ashton Agar, Jason Berendorf returns to the Australian side.
Canberra boy.
Shout out.
There he is.
Former Tuggeranong
boy.
Viking.
Valley.
Mitchell Marsh, Glenn the Big Show Maxwell, Ben McDermott, love seeing him there. He had a Ripper series. Riley Meredith, as speaking of Ripper series, he's Josh Philippe there.
McDermott was a bit unlucky for the Hurricanes with Wade coming back. Wade and Short were getting all the runs. He had to sit on the bench and watch him.
Well, yeah, he's still batting 3.
He's still batting 3, but
So, yeah.
if those blokes
he
are
did
eating up
he
10 plus overs.
did just drop off in those last 2 games, I believe.
Yeah.
Then you got the Richardsons, Jai and Kane, Daniel Sams, Tanveer Sangha, the 19-year-old, gets his first
it's good to
Australian
see.
squad. Yeah, I like that. Picked on form.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's it. What do you have to see? You had a good big bash?
Yep.
Good. You pick.
Get him
You're
in.
it.
Get
That's
him in.
just as simple as it needs to be.
Yeah, so for a bloke that we had never heard of 3 months ago, he's there in the Australian squad. Wishing him all the best over there. Darcy Short, the big Stoin, Ashton Turner, Andrew Ty, Adam Zampa. Would we like to pick our 11s out of that?
well, I think we were chatting before. The bowlers kind of pick themselves.
Yep.
You go.
So who have you got?
You got Zampa is probably your specialist spinner.
Yep, agreed.
You can then, depending on where you want Sams, you go both the Richardsons, and that could be your 4. Or actually, no, you bunch Sams up and then you play the 2 Richardsons. And who was the other one? It wasn't Berendorf.
Ty. I think based on Ty's
Maybe
previous
Meredith.
form.
Dorf.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
go
you
the
could
Dorf.
go the
You
Dorf.
could go Riley Meredith. There's a good fast bowling contingent there.
Well, there's 5 T20s. Every single bowler in that squad should play.
Yeah,
They should
yeah.
really every
Rotate
single
through,
one. Let him.
yeah.
Let's have a look what we've got here. I mean, Jai Richardson. Have you seen him bowl from the boundary? Have you seen he's cleared to bowl, but he's not allowed. He can't throw. I want you to get your head around that. He can bowl, but he can't throw.
Yeah.
So he's been fielding. I don't know if you've seen it. He's been fielding on the boundary.
Yeah, and
I don't know why he'd be on the boundary, and he actually bowls it
Bowls
in.
it back
he
in.
bowls it back
Yeah.
in because
You're right.
he
Be
can't.
some sort of
It must be
shoulder.
There's some angle he can't get his.
He can't.
Yeah. It's his bowling
It's-
shoulder. I
it's
think
a-
that's when you need to shut a bloke down before something happens. But I thought he was stiff to miss out on the test team. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
pick here and
Yeah.
he'll play. So
We were picking him in our backup Australian test attack last week.
Yep.
So I like your thinking there.
I think Sam's is your all rounder.
Yeah, I like Sam's at 7 has shown he can be devastating, really devastating with the bat, and was last Big Bash. He was the top wicket taker in that one. Mm-hmm. So then, who are you going for your bats? Let's say we're going Sam's, both Richardsons, Andrew Ty, Zampa.
Zampa, yep, bottom 5.
Let's
Dorf
say that.
stiff. Dorf very stiff.
Dorf
there,
stiff, Merida stiff, maybe a bit of rotation.
Yep.
They'll definitely get goals.
Who's our top 6?
Well, Finch will open.
Well, Finch has to.
With Wade?
I think that's probably makes the most sense, but maybe you start with Wade and one of the other guys and Finchie's 3.
Yeah, they might.
That's a possibility.
Might drop Finchie down to 3.
Whether that's...
Well, who's there? Philippi?
I think,
based
maybe...
on form.
Based on form, yeah.
Based on form, Philippi and McDermott have to be in there.
Yep.
Or they might just go with the Hurricanes connection of Wade and short and start with that.
Yeah.
But I think if Finch is then 3, then Philippi's probably 4.
Maxi has to be 5.
Maxi 5.
Yeah, and then Maxi's your 5.
Yeah. Yep. And then who you got 6? Mitch Marsh?
No.
The way he can hit like that.
Well, we got McDermott still sitting there. You could put him in there.
I'm going to pick mine for the sake of being succinct. That was a bit of a tongue twister. I'm going Finch, Wade, McDermott at 3.
Yep.
Philippi at 4, just on form. And then I'm going Maxwell, Mitch Marsh. Darcy Short misses out just on the fact that he hasn't had the best Big Bash.
Yeah.
But
you can't drop.
I'd pick
your
Stoinis
captain
over
or
March.
I haven't had Stoin in there. Marsh is out, Stoin's in. Sorry, Mitch Marsh. Sorry. Had I overlooked a big Stoin.
Yeah.
Anyways, we could talk about this for days. We should probably move on. Can we have a look at...
The Kiwis, of course, haven't announced their team, like their squad yet. I'm sure they're probably going to have some of their big name test guys in that team as well.
Yeah, they're not playing test matches at the same time like we are. So you'd think guys like Williamson, Trent Bolt will be in that side. Mm-hmm. The first one of those kicks off February 22, so got a few weeks before we will be watching that. Monkey, do you want to just, for the sake of time, run us through that Australian test squad, please?
Yep, so test squad touring South Africa.
We've got to start with the first one. Who's the first one on the list?
Tim Payne.
So he keeps his captaincy because we were talking a lot about should he stay captain.
I was listening last week. I couldn't believe it. Yep. I pulled over the car. I couldn't believe the slander over Tim Payne. Oh.
Yeah, disgusting slander. I thought.
Oh, I can't believe it.
I'm all for the loose bus chains at the moment. I'm just backing it.
But then who keeps?
Well. That's
Gary.
number 4 on that list.
Run through the list.
So run through the list. So Tim Payne's captain. Then we've got Pat Cummins as VC. Yep. Then we've got Sean Abbott, Alex Carey, Cameron Green, Marcus Harris, Josh Hazelwood.
Parcel time.
Harry Potter, Parcel time. Sean Connery, Josh Hazelwood.
That's it.
The late great.
Travis Head, Moses Henrique, minus
go.
Labuschagne.
Yeah, loose bus chain.
Yep. Nathan Lyons, Michael Nisa. Sorry. Yeah. James Pattinson, Will Piskovsky, Steve Smith, Mitchell Stark, Mark Steckety. Sorry. Mitchell Swepson and Davey Warner.
Okay, so
first bit we mentioned Wade misses out, so he's gone off to play T20.
Stiff or not?
I think it's probably fair based on his age, and you bring in back Trevor's Head, who's someone younger that you can then hopefully, he's still averaging 40, so you'd want him back in that squad to try to build around again.
I think the batting. I mean, Warner's shockingly out of form. Pekovsky, if he's healthy, will open. All our runs come at 3 or 4.
Yes.
5 is really. I mean, Green showed a bit, and he's got runs on the board. Payne, bowlers. 5 is the only real question mark. I think it's heads for the first test. I think he's earned the right. There's no shield cricket, but we can't control that. Moises very much intrigues me.
Yeah, he might be a shout.
5.
He might be a shout there at 5. I do agree. I think that starting 11 goes close to picking itself. As you said, Pekovsky, Warner, Smith, loose bus Marnus, Smith, and then 5. Do you go Head? Do you go Moises? Cameron Green didn't do much wrong with the bat. So
he needs to get his first wicket, so keep him in there.
Yeah. Tim Payne, and then your 4 bowlers.
Well, Stark, question mark, for the table.
James Pattinson's in that side. Michael Niesa's in that side.
I think there'll be more rotation in this series than there was.
I think it's a very tight leash for Stark if he plays the first test.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's very much. It is only a 3-test series. You see England, to go back a bit, they are rotating in India. So I don't think Anderson and Broad are playing. Or Anderson isn't playing the first test. Broad isn't. Like it's the old school when we used to rotate quicks. Because it's a quick turnaround. Stark looked cooked at the end of that.
Well, I think Hazelwood looked a bit
Hazelwood,
cooked.
gas. I mean, we bowled Paddy Cummins until he literally couldn't move. And it's a quick turnaround, so I wouldn't hate seeing what Nisa has. I love James Pattinson, but you can only play 4 bowlers. And I mean, Stark with a new rock over there. I think he has earned the right for the first test, but very short leash, I think.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that one. Has Michael Nisa played a test before?
Negative.
No, I don't think so.
He's waiting to make his debut.
No, I don't think he has. Sean Abbott's the one there. I don't know why they are taking him, and he should be playing in the T20s. They're not going to pick him.
Yeah.
We should be playing.
Poor fella's going to be a net bowler again, you'd imagine.
Go to New Zealand, be our opening bowler, and he's so good in the Big Bash. Which is a T20. Like, there's a couple selections in there. A
few head scratches.
Like, they're what do we have there? 20, 30 players.
Yeah.
Something like that. If you're not going to play Moises, he should be in the T20 team at 6 or at 5.
It's 20 players and 21.
So 40 odd. Like, let's be honest, they're our 40 best cricketers. But just a few.
Like Alex Carey as well. Like, he's been pretty good with the bat as well. Like, he's third or fourth in run scored for BPL. So
he just hit a ton. Like But again, then there's Wade. You can get a bit sticky with it.
You can go back and forth between the two.
I suppose that's it. Who in the T20 would you see in the Test team if you're moving them around?
If you wanted to go the other way,
McDermott. I think there's a bit of noise about him. Actually, that 5 spot is open.
Yeah,
he hits a long rock.
I think we were looking at his Shield record the other days. I think he's averaging 36 2 tons, but definitely shown that he can hit the ball in the shorter format. And he's only young. He's only 24 or something. So
I think
might get an opportunity at some stage.
So I think that's why Alex Carey's been put in the Australian side, because he's very much being groomed by the next captain. So you got Tim Payne there, but obviously, those two, like Philippe and McDermott, are probably the other two that we're looking out for. But again, those 3 in the future are all as keepers. Only one can be keeper.
Exactly right. What do we?
So yeah.
But I mean, when everyone's saying Carey, you've just said then he's our next captain. What's in between? Like the Cummins is vice captain. Couldn't stand him being our captain. That's what he already does everything. You can't get the bloke captain and set the field as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
hasn't been
I'd say give it the smudge, but it won't happen. But
no, I don't think so. I think he's been blacklisted.
Yeah. Head had some noise for captain, but he's been dropped. Like, that's also a thing. You've been dropped. That doesn't mean your career's over. No, you can go in here and
dropped.
Mark Waugh, Michael Slater got dropped multiple times. I think Punter got dropped.
So I'd love to see Head just cement down 5. Then you've got your young blokes, there's Pekovsky and Green coming through. Then we're actually, those question marks we had are actually our pluses, our advantages, and the future is set as well as the present. We know what our bowlers do. Then, Carey comes through with a bunch of experienced blokes. And I don't know, it's weird that we lost because we just read the 11 out so easily. But we just lost to a bunch of no-names. So why is it so easy to pick our 11?
Maybe there should be a few more heads.
But it's a weird one. Like, no one in this room looks at that and goes, well 10 have picked themselves.
I want back to the short lease comment. Do you think Tim Payne's on a bit of a short lease? Maybe not for this series, but if they get whitewashed, 0-3.
Just in the. He can't cop the beating.
No.
I mean, the Aussie media love turning on their own. So I mean, purely for Cricket Australia, they'll just. And unless they say to him, look, win, lose or draw for the next 12 months, you just have to cop whatever comes your way. Because he got the highs after the Ashes. He did get a lot of love. And it's
people got short memories, don't they?
With the Ashes weren't that long ago.
No.
Sandpaper Gate wasn't that long ago. He got us out of that. But
and everyone sees the poster boy of Paddy Cummins. Like, they all he'd be great as Test captain, but it's hard being a bowler, and it's been a very, very long time.
Test captain.
Sean Pollock, Heath Streak of Zimbabwe.
Yeah, that's the heater.
And I'm blanking.
I think Courtney Walsh was captain of the West Indies.
And it
Was it-
drove the
was it
cricket
Macra-
team into the ground.
Was there Macram? But in terms of Australian quicks, it hasn't happened in 7 years.
65.
65, as per last week's quick
That wasn't
maths.
even quick. That was a spinner as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So probably even longer
Specialist
than
spinner. Yeah. Oh, yeah, like specialist quick, yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, shall we have a look at the Big Bash? The regular season
Yep.
has just wrapped up.
Take it
I'll
away,
try and
Peps.
fly through these because
Yep.
with the triple
Fly through
header
through.
in Australia Day and a few double headers, there's been a lot of games. Match 46, Strikers defeat the Heat, 82 runs. That was during our last podcast. Kerry got the first ton of the Big Bash. Wes Agar and Peter Siddle made light work of the Brisbane Heat batting lineup. Big Bash game 47, Scorchers defeat Hurricanes. Scorchers keep climbing up that table. Josh Inglis had 58 for Perth. Nathan Ellis 4 for 34 for Hobart there. Darcy Short had 43, but it wasn't enough. Jai Richardson had 4 for 33 there. Match 48, Thunder and Sixers. Alex Hales gets another ton. Two
Second
games.
ton.
Yeah, 2 games prior. Carey goes, yep, I'll have that.
The first one.
Yeah, I'll have that first ton. Hales
First.
Hales goes, no thanks. I'll have 110 or 56 and goes ahead as the leading run scorer in the competition. Thunder put themselves into the record books. 232 runs is the highest innings ever in Big Bash history, and the Thunder have the 3 highest totals of this Big Bash, I should say.
This season.
This season. The record that they overtook was a crazy game back in 16-17 between the Hurricanes and the Renegades. I was actually at this game with my soon-to-be wife and brother-in-law.
Shout out, Sarah.
Shout out to Sarah.
I bet you she was thoroughly
out, Jim.
enjoying it.
She was enjoying it more than my brother-in-law Jim. He suggested at
Jim.
the innings break when the Renegades made 222. He said, "Oh, we should go. Like there's no chance." And that Canes actually chased that down, and Stuart Broad hit the winning runs there for the Hurricanes to get the former record of 223. So Thunder beat that by 9 runs. In this game, Enriquez had 56 for the Thunder, for the Sixers, I should say, but it wasn't enough.
Yep.
Match 49 saw the Heat defeat the Renegades by 26 runs, leading 52, Labuschagne 49. Sammy Harper had 57, not enough. Steckity and Swepson got the poles there. Match 50, Scorchers continue their winning ways, defeating the Stars by 11 runs. Colin Munro, 46 not out for Scorchers. Nick Larkin stepped up. He's been good in a few games there. I'm sure he will get another contract next year. He had 70, wasn't enough. The Aussie selections, as we just mentioned, of Andrew Ty and Jason Berendorf, Tuggeranong Vikings, shout out. They got the job done there for Perth. Match 51 saw the Strikers defeat the Thunder by 6 runs. The Strikers all shared the runs. It was 3 blokes that got 31. That was the Mickey number in that. And then there was some nice hitting from Cutting and Nathan McAndrew for the Thunder, but they fell short there. Siddle and Nisa with 2 for each. Match 52 saw the Hurricanes take on the Sixers. The Canes got that by 7 runs to keep the finals hopes alive. Wade and Short batting together, I believe, for the first time. They were the killers last Big Bash. Wade 86, Short 72, and that got them home.
That was a good innings.
Yeah, despite some runs from Jordan Silk there. Match 53 saw the Thunder demolish the Strikers. Rain-affected game there at the Adelaide Oval. Jake Weatherald had 80 not out for the Strikers off their 14 overs. Wasn't enough. Hales 63, Ferguson 46, getting the job done there for the Thunder. Match 54 was the first of the Australia Day triple header. The Heat defeat the Scorchers there by 6 runs. That kept them alive, depending the results later on in the day.
Yep.
For the Heat, it was a carbon copy of the last game with Lynn getting 51, Labuschagne 46. They both got 50 in the high 40s the game before. Mitch Marsh had 54 off only 26 balls. He needed a 6 off the last ball to take it to a super over. Wasn't able to do it. Heat win there against the Scorchers, but their fate would be decided later in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's interesting that Labuschagne got 3 for 35 in this.
Yeah.
Bowled really well. Maybe asking to bowl a couple more overs and test than the 10 I think he did through the entire series.
Maybe on day 5. pitch, although Zampa gets bulk wickets in 2020, and I don't know how he'd go in test matches, apples and oranges.
Well, he's gone for nearly 10 and over as well. So I know.
Yeah. So, anyways, on the short form, Marnus definitely a pretty handy leg spinner. Match 55. So the Hurricanes, all they had to do was win this one and cement a place in the finals.
Who are they playing?
Playing the Melbourne Renegades, the
Bottom of the table.
the bright star of this year's Big Bash. The Renegades absolutely spoil the Hurricanes' hopes. Bo Webster and Mackenzie Harvey making runs again after
good, Mac Harvey.
after Finch and S. Marsh failed to make runs again.
Yep.
And then lots of starts from the Canes bats, but no big scores. Young bloke, shout out here to Zach Evans. He had 5 for 33 for the Renegades and put the nail in Hobart's coffin. He becomes the second Renegade ever to get a 5 for in the Big Bash. He's only a 20-year-old playing for Victoria. He's got one Shield game under his belt. It was actually that Shield game where Pekoski got 250-something, and Victoria won that very easily, but he didn't do much damage with the ball, and only his 6th Big Bash game there.
I'm going to make a prediction that Zach Evans will not become an Australian cricket player. That name just does not scream Aussie player. Zach Evans.
Zach Evans?
Zach Evans.
Zach
That does nothing to me. Zach, ZAK too, just
ZAK.
aesthetically not pleasing.
Missing a C, as like I'm missing a H in my first name. Don't want to put the Mickey on the young bloke. We'll see how
Nope, shoot him down. 6 games.
And
a fight for
then
He's shit. Too bad.
the last game of the Big Bash regular season was kind of interesting because the Bash boost, which we've sort of had a bit of a knock on since its inception this series, it came into play. Situation was Sixers were going to make the finals regardless, second or first.
Yep.
Most likely first. Stars could leapfrog both the Heat and Strikers if they got the 4 points in this. So they had to win the first 10 overs and win the match. Maxi went out there and had 66. Hilton Cartwright had some nice clean hitting at the end of the game. The problem was they only got 72 off their first 10 overs. I think they got 100 odd in their back 10. They really had to score that 100 off the first 10 to try and get that Bash boost point. Sean Abbott, 2 for 28, got his 100th Big Bash wicket. That gets him to second all time there.
Do you know who's won?
Yes, it's Ben Lachlan from the...
Yuck.
Yeah, who's hardly played this series.
Sean Abbott.
He actually bowled that last ball to Mitch Marsh the other day where Marsh needed the 6, and he was pretty happy about it. Yeah, so you'd imagine Sean Abbott, next Big Bash goes to number 1 on that list. And then in return, there was some really nice hitting from Dan Christian at the end there, 49 off 23. Didn't really matter because the bonus point was grabbed by the Sixers. They won the first 10 overs, so the last 10 overs were essentially a dead rubber. I just had a note there. I think Dan Christian maybe a little bit unlucky to miss out on that Australian side. One of the cleanest
Going younger, I reckon.
One of the cleanest hitters. He's getting on a little bit, and his bowling's starting to get a little bit expensive. So that's probably
they did target him a bit in this Big Bash.
Only points there. And the last cricket point, old Chrome Dome Todd Greenberg. He's going to be the boss of the Australian Cricket Association.
There you go.
So he's, I don't know, don't want to badmouth him too much. He's had a crack at a top job before here in the NRL. Did he ever do the A-League?
No,
that was Gallup.
That was the other way around.
Gallup went there.
It's interesting how they keep them.
Yeah, it's like there's only 3 guys in the country that are qualified to do the top sporting job. So
Well, Greenberg, of course, came from the Bulldogs originally.
that's right. So see how big Todd goes there, and that is our week in cricket.
Before we finish up, Big Bash finals. So yes, the finals. So
The one that we struggle to get our head around.
yeah.
Well, I've got it here in front of me.
Yes, the first. So game 1's tomorrow night.
Eliminator.
4 versus 5.
Yep,
The
4 versus
Eliminator.
5.
So Heat are playing.
So the Heat are playing the Strikers. And then after that, we have got the...
So one's got one. Okay, keep going. Sorry. Yes, before I start confusing it.
Yep. All right, so after that, we've got the qualifier, which is 1 first v second. So we've got the Sixers versus Scorchers.
Yeah, whoever wins that goes straight through to the grand final.
Yep. And then after that, we've got the knockout, which is 3rd place
playing the winner.
playing the winner of the eliminator.
Hang on. So that second, first, third, I don't think they go straight to the grand final.
No, so 1 and 2 play each other, and the winner of that goes straight to the grand final.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So 4 and 5.
Still struggling with this.
4 and 5 play. The winner of
So-
that plays 3, and the winner
Yep.
of that goes to the grand final.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That is it.
But no, that would make 2 eliminated. Wouldn't it be
Yes.
So
2v3, 4v5?
Nah, I think
No.
Sean's got it, and this is how we work.
Yeah, that's why I said.
But then the 2, you've
so the
forgotten
first week bye is actually the team that finishes third,
Yeah.
which is weird. So it's 4 and 5
Yeah.
eliminator,
yep.
1 and 2 straight to the grand final.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Then 3.
You're left with 3 teams then.
Yeah. So then
So-
the winner of 1 and 2 gets that next
Granny.
The loser of 1 and 2 gets that bye.
Yeah.
So 3.
Oh, God.
Okay.
3 is going to play an elimination game.
Yep, so-
versus winner of 4 and 5.
So
and then the
yep,
winner
so-
of that plays.
The loser of 1 and 2.
All right,
Yeah.
brilliant. Jimmy, repeat that back to us, would you, mate?
And stand in pig lane.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
so-
Oh, God.
So we've got the eliminator. We've got the Heat versus Strikers.
Yes.
Whoever loses, knocked out.
Ooh.
Then we've got the qualifier. So we've got Sixers versus Scorchers. Whoever wins that goes straight through to the final.
Yep.
The next one, we've got the knockout, which is the Sydney Thunder up against the Brisbane Heat or the Adelaide Strikers, whoever wins.
Yep.
And then after that, we've got the challenger, which will be...
God, I forgot that. Sounds like the old gladiator.
That's Mike Whitney. Mike Whitney.
Who dares win?
Challenger.
Who dares win?
Are you ready?
So the challenge...
Gladiator.
So the
Those
challenge...
sexy girls, Britain. 90s throwback.
90s TV was the best.
Yeah, a lot of muscle. Didn't mind it. Young Pep didn't mind a bit of muscle on the females. Let's move.
Let's move this on, please.
Moving forward to the
All right,
challenger.
So the challenger will be the loser of the qualifier versus the winner of the knockout.
Yep. Okay.
And then the winner of that will go through to the final.
Yep.
You know who gets a good deal here? Third, I reckon.
Yeah, they get the first.
Third. First week
Yep.
bye.
Yeah.
I think one gets a good. They got to play one game and then the final, so that's not bad.
No, but there's no difference between 1 and 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Home final, you get
Yeah, you get
that's-
home final.
yeah, home final. But
Which, yeah.
in terms of elimination and chances, they're obviously a big drop from 1 and 2 down to 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And 3 gets a nice
Bit
advantage
of a cushy,
there.
little boy. When it's not a week,
very strange.
when it's not weekly, it's daily. I think it's probably easier to wrap your head around it.
True,
I think it's one of those turn the TV
happens
on at
very quickly,
7:30 and
so
just tell me who's
yeah.
playing.
and they did do this format last year, and obviously none of us got our heads around it then. So
Had 12 months and we're still here.
yeah, so hopefully next year we'll be all over it.
So who you picking? I've got the Heat as probably a little bit of a dark horse.
You like the Heat?
Well, I think with Labuschagne back in that team, they're a bit different than they were
Yeah,
at the
if
start of
Lynn
the
can
year.
get going, I think they've got it's hard to do that from fourth.
We just got to win out.
You got to win out. Got to win out.
Yeah.
Got to win out.
Got to beat everyone essentially. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
otherwise, I think the Scorchers and the Sixers have been so dominant. So
I think the Scorchers have obviously shown up at the right time. We've been speaking the last 2 episodes about how they had a slow start. Obviously didn't play in Perth early on due to the Catalino virus. And they are going gangbusters now. And they have 3 bowlers that could play for Australia. So,
Yeah.
yes.
And that batting lineup's pretty scary.
Yeah.
That's
The 2 Poms, Roy and Livingston, at least one of them's fired in every game.
yeah.
If you get one of them early, then Colin Munro comes out.
Yeah. Mitchy Marsh should have a
Mitchy
head
Marsh,
tickle at the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think the Scorchers.
Yeah.
Although they've won 3, that's the most out of anyone. I hate to see them go 2 ahead. I think for general interest, maybe a Thunder or someone that hasn't won multiple.
I think there's a bit of a story on the Thunder as well, wanting home final because I don't think they're letting them play in Sydney at the moment. But with restrictions
Canberra,
changing,
Canberra, Monica.
with all the
Yeah, he's over
restrictions
there.
changing, they talk about, hey, can we have it back in Sydney?
Yeah, right. I've been Thunder since I was born, bro. I
yeah.
bleed lime green and black. So yeah, I think it's because I got bitten by an alien.
That would explain a lot going on. Actually, that would actually make
The
a lot
height,
of
the
sense.
looks, the
nose.
the
The
teeth.
chat.
Shout out to Ridley Scott if you are listening.
Big fan of the pod. Ridley Scott.
Big fan, Ridley Scott.
I think that'll
Glad he had a good-
wrap
glad he
up
had a
our
good
cricket chat for the week. So I think we might blast through a whole bunch of news stories, and we'll start with some local ones in the NRL. So our boy Jack Whiten gets engaged.
I'm surprised you didn't propose to him, the amount that you were sucking him off during Origin. And,
I'm just his side chick. It's all right.
well, this is the NRL. No, so congrats there to Jackie Boy. Obviously, we were speaking his praises during the year, thinking he should have been the New South Wales 6 and the Dally M winner.
Yep.
And also great beer sculler when travelling fast in the boat to put the Captain Jack to Pirates of the Caribbean music. Check that video out if you haven't.
Did you see his Instagram post
regarding engagement? No.
Unfortunately, fiance was auto-corrected to finance. So everyone was getting stuck in him, but congrats on the home loan.
Yeah, the finance. Finance. What does she do for work? She must be on one if she's the finance.
Oh, well, they're expecting their third child, so congrats on that too.
Probably about time. Good on you, Jackie boy.
Thanks, man.
You've got a note here, Benji, South Sydney.
Yeah,
what have you seen here?
Well, it sounds like he's finally found a home that he's going to sign with South Sydney. Of course, Wayne Bennett's been there and they were together at Brisbane, so looks like he's going to go there as probably a backup half to Adam Reynolds, and who's been hurt a lot, so it makes sense. A veteran presence really helped. I think that year he was there really helped Hunt and Milford, or was it Milford and someone else was playing halves? But they played better the following year because Benji had been there. At Brisbane. So, but that we're talking 6 years ago. So it's been a
bit
while.
of a journeyman, Benji.
Well, Tigers, Brisbane, Tigers, and Tigers didn't want him. He wanted to basically retire.
Dragons in there as well.
Oh, Dragons, sorry. Yes, Dragons before Brisbane. But yeah, and then, of course, was looking overseas, but wanted to play here in Australia. Makes sense with COVID at the moment in Super League in the UK. Looks like South Sydney is going to give him the run around.
Yeah, right.
He'd be up there as well. He'd be James Anderson.
Yeah, I don't think
35, 36.
Yeah,
he's 36, turning 37 in a month.
Which is pretty ancient for a rugby league player not named Cameron Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Benji.
So what have the Dragons boys been up to?
Well, there's only one dragon and one shark. Let's get that settled.
I've heard this joke before.
A dragon and a shark walk into a bar.
Benji
and they both get done on assault.
35 years old.
35.
Interesting one. The media was pretty quick on this one. Brawl, Corey Norman, Chico Seguiaro involved. Apparently, they were leaving dinner with two females.
Associates?
Apparently, associates. Apparently, there was some racism involved. Chico put out something on his Insta saying possibly the N word was used. Outside of rap contexts. You don't condone getting into a brawl. But if that was said, you can kind of see where they're coming from. I don't think there's been any charges laid or anything from the clubs, so play on. Yeah, rugby league players get in fight in off season.
Yeah,
hardly news.
Well, actually, it's probably a record. Last week in January, that's probably the latest it's taken for a NRL scandal. Usually, it's New Year's is really a hot pot.
So. There was Mitchell Pearce had a bit of sexing.
I think. The NRL will be very happy with this off season. I don't think
compared to previous ones.
Yeah.
On Mitchell Pearce, so broke his thumb during a training incident.
Probably
in quotations.
Trying to text all those staffers that work for the Knights.
Allegedly. So he's under contract negotiations as well, I believe, year on year, going for a 1 year extension.
Yeah, of course, lost the captaincy for Newcastle, and I don't think they've named a replacement yet either.
Who would you go?
I don't know.
Ponga's too young.
Possibly, but then
they've given him everything else.
Exactly. You completely turn the whole club over. I think Blake Green's the favourite, being the old head. Maybe you'd pick Clemmer, but you probably wouldn't want to pick.
I feel like Clemens a bit too fiery for a captain.
Yes.
The leader of young men.
Yes. So I think Green, of course, favourite is the old veteran, but
he's been around a bit. Played Green
first. He's only played half the year, I think, with them last year, didn't he? He was with the Warriors for half of it. So hard to say who they'd pick.
Okay. End of January should be about a month until it's normally about first week of March.
First week of March.
Yeah. So that is sneaking up on us.
And the only other news I had was Jared Hayne got married pretty over the holidays as well. That's probably the only other news that's come out during the
week. Jared.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. L'chaim.
So not a huge amount going in the AFL at the moment besides the Women's League kicking off. But there was a bit of a sad story, news story in relation to Shane Tuck, who took his life. Was it last year?
Yeah, about halfway through last year.
Yeah, halfway through last year.
Yeah. Richmond player, son of Michael Tuck.
Son of a legend. Yeah.
Held the games record for the best part of 40 years, Michael.
So they've done a full biopsy, not biopsy, what's the thing? Autopsy. That's the one I'm looking for. And of course, through that, they've discovered that he did have CTE and quite significant from the way the news has said, which, for all those blokes that had concussions, it's one of the things you really worry about. And you can see, for us following the NFL, you see the amount of blokes that have gone through that and then committed suicide. That it's definitely something that really messes with people.
It's a scary thing.
It is, and it's. I was telling you boys a bit earlier about a few concussions during my footy career, and concussions lead to depression, which leads to suicide, and it sucks to talk about. Like we're 4 young blokes here, but it's a very real thing at the moment, and we're all NFL fans as well. You see what happens to this stuff. Look at the Aaron Hernandez situation. And that's obviously the most extreme of the extreme, but we've got a young bloke here. He wouldn't have been 35, 36, sort of around that. He wouldn't have been 40, and he's chosen to take his own life. So there you go. Like, it's definitely linked. There's no way. The science is there. There's enough years of proven, and we just hope now we're a bit more knowledgeable at the situation. You're a bit more aware to this stuff. You can
manage it a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see some signs come a bit earlier, and I think you've seen a lot of the stuff in the AFL this off-season with coaches, shacking up with people. We've got Dean Laidley situation there. The AFL environment is just a pressure cooker for everyone involved.
Sports in general.
Exactly right.
Sports.
100%. So when you throw in that your brain's getting rattled around on top of all of that,
it's bloody sad.
And it's terrible news. And he was, the Richmond people still talk of him and speak so highly of him. And like we said, he's part of an Aussie rules icon. So
I'd hate to cross sports, but remembering the story of Genius Sayo,
another NFL
who shot himself in the chest on purpose,
so that his brain,
people they could do that. He knew something was wrong with him, and that of course he wanted to take his life, but he did it in a way that they could then do research on him because he knew there was something wrong with him. Like you see how scary. And like
but exactly right. Yeah, it's crossing sports, but it's the same. It's the same thing. It's the human brain.
Exactly. It's the human brain.
And
one of the probably most precious organs that you do damage to.
The most you'd think.
As we were saying, you can't. This CTE, it's such a bitch. You can only do it with an autopsy. You can't actually remove a human's brain and check it out. Which is just. It's sad. It's terrible, but you hope moving forward, stories like this come up. They're awful, but use them as learning tools.
It's great to see across nearly all the leagues that have some form of contact that they've taken it way more seriously. Especially in the last probably 5 years at least. Like they're understanding the impact on it, and yes, a lot of the leagues have probably taken an impact on the amount of young players coming through and playing their sport. But they're getting more serious about the science behind it, being able to treat it, and then prevention. Definitely will help overall the sport, and then building the rules around it to make it safer for the players. Like it's not the 90s anymore where guys are getting blasted left, right, and centre.
You're a tough guy. You got knocked in the head, get up and go. No, we're going to take our time and really have a look at this stuff. It's with HIA. Is that what it is in the league? Concussion rules across most codes now. So
and it doesn't help with some of the old boys. And this reminds me of Andy Reid making that comment about Paddy Mahomes again crossing sports. If he said if this was the 90s and he got knocked out in the previous game the divisional round. That if it was in the 90s, would have come back and played the rest of the game. It's like that's the reason they brought in the rules, because if he takes another shot, then that's could actually be a killer shot. The second one is the one you got to avoid the most. And the players in that situation aren't going to put themselves in the best position, because of course. Paddy, of course, Mahomes getting paid shitloads of money, so it's not a big deal. But others, hey, they need their stats.
I gotta get out there.
I need my minutes. I need my stats. I got to get up because I got bonuses and I get paid.
Incentives and stuff. Exactly.
So they're going to put their own well-being at risk, which can then be life-threatening in the end.
Yeah.
I think to take away and try and wrap up on the CTE, I think 2 points for me. One, we've got to talk about it more, as we're doing right now, and it has sort of come into the discussion, in the last sort of 5 years. And two, just hats off to those medical professionals and guys that are 100 times smarter than we are, that are researching this and finding out about it. And hopefully, in the coming generations, you'd hate to see contact sport go. But hopefully there are ways for early detection and diagnostics and treatment and, ways to keep on top of it medically.
Well said, Pep. Well said. Good wrap up on that one. Yeah.
So, let me go back to the list. I want to skip the NBA and the UFC for now.
Going to come back to it?
Yeah, I just want to, let's cover some of the others. Olympics. There's a lot of chat coming out because, very big question mark at the moment. Because I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say backroom deals, but there's a lot of chat in the Tokyo Japanese administration that they're very much preparing, like, hey, it's not happening. We can't get everyone here. We don't want to have to do a bubble quarantine for 10,000 athletes across the entire of Japan. Like it's going to be such a challenge logistically that I don't think they're really keen for it. Because I'm thinking, is it June or July? The Olympics
July is meant to kick off.
Start. So it's 5 months away, so it's not a huge distance away. But then I think that's the story was a story released to say, hey, Japan thinks the Olympics is not happening, and then this from an Australian perspective, the AOC, which is Australian Olympic Committee, came out and said, hey, they've told us we're good to go, it's happening.
We're sending 500 people.
Exactly, we're going to send a full squad. We're going to send them all over. Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to watch it. I think we'll cover and follow the Olympics if it happens, because it's one of the biggest sporting events on the planet that kind of comes around every 4 years. So, 5 years for this one, because it's been postponed a year. And it'd be a big loss, I think, for Japan. I think it would be an excellent Olympics in Japan, just knowing the culture and the way that whole city set up.
Just the investment in the infrastructure to begin with.
$38 billion, I think they've sunk into it.
And AUDs?
It's definitely not yen.
I could cover it.
I'd say AUDs, if not USD, as a comparison. But a lot of money, which will then fall on the taxpayers in Japan, because they probably, if it doesn't go ahead, they don't get any return on it. There'll be a bunch of new stadiums that they'll probably use for a lot of sports that they play over in Japan, that are up and coming, because they do play a lot of basketball, baseball, etc.
Rugby,
and a bit of rugby. More soccer, of course. Soccer's probably the main one in Japan.
Or baseball.
Yes, baseball. I list baseball. Yeah. So they'll get some.
Breakdancing, obviously, we need a couple big stadiums.
Yeah, no, they need stadiums for anime girls. What are you talking about?
There's robot wars or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be fine. They know what to do with the stadium. Muscly ones for Peps.
Actually, that does remind me of a USC story and one of the birds in it. We'll talk about that later. I have to figure out her name.
Is she a robot?
No, but she's massive. So in golf, the Farmers Insurance Open is this weekend at Torrey Pines.
Yep.
So it looks like they're still rolling through tournaments over there. So
golf is a pretty socially distant sport.
Yes.
Especially if you're playing with me. 100 metres out on the right in the trees somewhere.
Yep. And I think most of these are still no crowds. For a lot of that.
I think they're trying to work out a Masters situation. They want people there. They want people to
put it in Florida.
3 months away.
That'll be full crowd. They'll be turning people away.
They pulled from Trump's course, haven't they? PJ's
I believe so.
Play there anymore.
Yep.
That's a can of worms there, Jimmy.
So yeah, we won't dive into politics.
Politics on this one is no bueno.
No, sir.
No, sir, we.
So Masters is what, April? 3 months away?
Yeah, it's meant to be in April.
April, yeah.
Obviously, last year was in October.
Yeah, so it's good. More Masters on the TV.
Two Masters in 6 months. We'll take that.
So let's tackle and have a bit of a look at the EPL here. So from our last session, Liverpool then played Burnley and they lost to them. They had, is this Burnley or was Liverpool had the 27 shots?
This is Liverpool. Liverpool left 27 shots.
27 shots to 6.
72% possession.
Yeah. Dominant.
Everyone's had a favourite game like this.
This is control breaker. This
is fucking bullshit.
Control the field for the whole game and still lost.
Control through TV, this one.
Little gross dribbler too for the winner for Burnley. So a very Burnley victory.
Indeed. City's absolutely pumped West Brom this morning. Yesterday
where are they at the moment on the ladder?
City's second.
City are top now.
Actually with the United loss.
I thought they were
we'll
close.
get to that. It's beautiful.
Arsenal 3-1 over Southampton, slowly
starting to work their way back up.
Clawing their way back up. What happened with United, Jim?
Oh, it was just a 2-1 loss to Sheffield is as 2-1 loss to Sheffield as it sounds. It was disgusting. Tony Martial was running around like a headless chook. That's probably going to do it, I reckon. We can give it to City right now, I think.
You reckon? You're calling it early?
I am. I was very happy with how we're going. Ollie Solskjaer was my favourite player growing up. So ever since I've been backing him forever, but that was, if we can get an FA Cup win and finish top 3, I'm happy with it.
Yeah,
so that is Sheffield's 6th, 7th, and 8th point for the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still got to hit 12 to make sure that
we got them a quarter of the way there. We got them a quarter of the way there today.
Worst EPL team of all time.
Yeah,
so do you think Man U have kind of gone back to their form at the start of the season where they really slow? Because they had that huge run where did they win 10 straight?
It's
up there.
It's a weird one because not too many of those games are convincing. You think old school Man United, they've won 3-0 and they've dominated.
Clinical.
They're sort of like a grindy little team with flashy players. Like you've got the Rashfords and the Greenwoods and the Martials, but it's very seldom that they're all doing the right things at the same time. And Pogba's, he's not sort of your controller in the midfield. Bruno Fernandes, ever since he's come in, it's been outstanding. Yeah. And some of his free kicks he's been scoring lately have been just pretty to watch. Yeah. But the back four, you just, Luke Shaw could be anything. Whoever they put in the middle. I mean, Harry Maguire's your captain who's on a silly amount.
Highest paid centre back in the EPL.
We don't even talk about that. That's all right. It's I'm throwing it out after one loss. I think they're only 2 points behind City, but I mean, City's team is stacked. Liverpool are quite injured.
I might as well go my next question for you. Who are your favourites then? If you're ruling out United, you've got City as top.
City, yeah. I mean,
and Liverpool banged up at the moment.
Liverpool banged up. Klopp's got them. Like they buy into Klopp. I mean, they lose to Burnley, but that's the beauty of the Premier League. You can lose to Burnley, you can lose to Sheffield.
Yeah,
that's literally top losing to bottom. That is.
Yep.
There's no competition in the world that happens. I mean, look in Spain, we can talk about the top. Atletico having a good season, so they might come second. Bundesliga's 2 teams, so it's the beauty of the Premier League. But my God, it sucks when it happens to your team. It's been a good couple of months watching all these teams, watching Burnley beat Liverpool, and one of my mates at work's a big Liverpool fan. So Mike, shout out to you. I know you'll be listening, and he's very happy when he's more happy when United lose than when Liverpool win, and that is just a sad person. I cannot stand Mike when he does it. Shout out to you, Mike.
Hope you're listening, Mike.
So
like and subscribe, thanks.
5-star review, please.
Monks, what's the ladder looking like in the EPL then?
Yeah, so
if it's City,
you go.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, so we do have City, 1 point ahead of United, so 41-40.
May as well be 10.
Then we've got Leicester at 39, West Ham 35, Liverpool 34, Tottenham at 33, Everton 33.
It's quite tight there. And
tight at the top there.
I mean, we've heard this before. Leicester, you wouldn't think they can stay up there, but
they're still there.
How good would it be if that's the table when the season ends? With Hammers and Leicester playing.
Yeah, brilliant. Champions League. Yeah.
Would love to see it.
Leicester and Madrid would just be amazing. Making Barcelona go to West Ham. That would just be fun to watch.
Green Street Hooligans, good movie.
Yeah. How far through the season are they? Are they over halfway?
Just over halfway.
past
So
halfway.
19th game now. So right on the.
So a lot can still change, of course, but
And we will be
Yes,
focusing a little bit more, I think, on the soccer in the coming.
It's a sweet spot for the soccer now.
Yeah,
sort of
starting
in
to heat up
cricket
a little
season.
bit.
Yes,
Yeah.
the home run. I don't know. Do you boys, going a bit off script here, know what's happening with the Champions League? I know they've had a little bit of a break, but
well,
You go.
so I was just going to say I saw the UK was going their current lockdown they're in is going to extend all the way into March. So there is that.
So they're not playing any games.
So, sorry, surely you've been it. I mean, God, it's one of the biggest competitions in world sport.
I don't think
But
they'll be in it.
I mean, the money involved, yes, but
Just put them on a private plane. They've as long as they
do you
have
do a Fight Island, but with the Champions League team?
That'd be good. At
That'd be good.
Monaco Oval.
It's not a great place for soccer pitch. Let's put it
Have
that
they got a
Have
date?
two games going at once.
They got
Yes.
a date there. So it's meant to be February 21, but
that was just a week ago.
Yeah.
That's
February.
Feb
Sorry,
21.
sorry. Yes.
17th.
17th of Feb.
17th. 21 was the year. I should have clarified that.
Thanks, Peps. We were wondering
I wonder sometimes.
Yeah, 20 days away.
about it. Yeah, exactly. 3 weeks away.
So it's
No one in
scheduled.
England's allowed to leave the house, so I
Scheduled.
can't imagine.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be going anywhere.
Liverpool's the only team from the UK playing though, so
Because they're out of the group stage, aren't they? That's it.
Yeah, it's round of
Yes.
16.
yeah.
Well,
We got Barca, PSG, Leipzig, Liverpool.
I think Europe's doing better on the COVID front than the UK is, but I don't think it's
by
perfect.
March.
No.
Yeah.
Juventus, Porto, Dortmund, Sevilla. You'd have to go. That's only 8. You got to go back, I think. The draw.
yeah, well, we think it's
Mönchengladbach.
It is coming.
No, City's still alive. Mönchengladbach, they've got Lazio, Bayern, Atletico, Chelsea, and the other one, Atalanta Real.
Chelsea. Speaking of Chelsea, Frank Lampard got the big ugly boot.
What do you reckon about that?
Yeah.
Harsh or?
Oh, Abramovich is you want to talk about short leashes? There you go. But I mean, that's got to be hard for you die-hard Chelsea fans. I mean, as a United man, Lampard destroyed me as a teenager. He's a Chelsea legend, so he's
indeed. So
yeah. But out you go. I mean, Abramovich, doesn't matter what your name is, doesn't matter what you've done. Give me victory, or you get no job.
Russia need no fuck on you. That'll be it to us for soccer, I would think.
Yep.
Football.
Let's go into some fighting before we go back to some round ball sports.
Woo.
Yeah, I guess the big one, of course, was UFC 257, on the weekend, Sunday our time. It's interesting card overall. Did you want to bring the card up, James? Before we get into the co-main and main event, there's the girls actually put on a bit of a show. Some nice competitive fights. What was the other one? There's another one that I wanted to look at.
Yeah, but that was a bit of a show. They were pretty. I mean, Dana White came out and said that was.
It was a great card.
That was great. Yeah,
I think
they were
they
pumped
did.
with it. I mean,
they did pretty well pay-per-view wise as well. I think they were going to do more buys than Gaethje and Khabib did.
Oh, really?
Which is
Well, you know, you got Conor on the card, so that definitely helps.
As long as no one was streaming, otherwise Dana was coming for you.
Yeah. So I think go with the main card. We'll stick with that.
Yeah.
But I think the first one, Rodriguez versus Ribas.
Yeah.
Quite an interesting fight. Ribas dominated round 1 and then actually gets smoked in round 2 by Rodriguez, knocks her out.
Dog gets up there.
And this is also, we should probably talk about Herb Dean in this one. The referee, if you guys know, amongst them, having a bit of a bad couple of years with some controversy in the decision. Well, not in the decision, in his stoppages. Yeah. So not. Let's go with positional play. His positioning in this one wasn't great. He's rushed in, probably fair. Like Ribas was she was in trouble, so she was going out. You could see she was losing.
So Rodriguez knocked her down.
She's
on the mat.
She's on the mat. Rodriguez is all over her, landing hammer fists. Herb Dean comes flying in, pulls up, but then he's kind of hovering over the top of them. And I'd say probably brushes Rodriguez.
Yep.
So Rodriguez gets up thinking, hey, he's stopping the fight. So she walks away, turns around, her just goes, I didn't stop the fight. And Ribes, of course, in that time has stood up and she's there just, leaning back and forth. Punch kind of punch drunk.
Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
Frederick Tatum.
Rodriguez comes straight across.
Cactus is right.
So Rodriguez comes straight across, smokes her a couple more times, and then Herb's like, yeah, I'll stop it now. So had to knock her out twice in the one fight.
He has had a couple of them, Herb. He was the poster boy for the refs. Herb Dean.
Herb Dean.
He was definitely at the top. And then there's also talk, if you guys know Mario Yamasaka, who hasn't been reffing for quite a while, was by far the definition of the worst ref in the UFC. So I think Herb Dean's trying to take his title. So he's thinking, hey, I need to go back up and defend. I need to defend my title as the worst referee in UFC, because I think Dana said he'd never ref again in
That's
UFC.
massive, because Herb Dean's done hundreds and hundreds of main card fights.
Yeah, well,
so had Mario, but it doesn't help. And Goddard's kind of being, I think they're a bit more in the spotlight, and people kind of now understand the sports and see
there's lots of money going in there.
Exactly, see the mistakes, and then it magnifies it all. So but in this case, when the bird's clearly kind of out on her feet, though you fucked up your positioning, you probably could still call it off, so she doesn't have to take another 3 or 4 more punches.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Muradov got Sanchez in the third.
So the Mac, the Russian, I think Russian, or was he Croatian? I shouldn't fuck this up because the Eastern Europeans will come after us.
Russian. No, there's a lot of blue and red up there.
The Mac.
But I think he had a bit of a layoff over the last year. He had won 5 straight and previously in UFC.
What's no? That's
he's holding his flag up at the top.
No, go up. But that's
double flag.
One's Russian.
Dude, that's I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Azerbaijan.
It's wild. I'm going to say Bulgarian.
No, there's blue on it.
Belarus.
Yeah. There's blue on it.
I reckon you've tinned this here, Pep.
No. I was close. Tajikistan.
Yeah.
Oh, God. The people,
one of the
people at home here on the edge of their seats here as Pepsi goes through the atlas and looks.
How's this? According to Wikipedia, Tajik-born, Uzbek, Czech professionals. Why he's got fucking 4 flags?
I wonder if he became a fighter. He came out
and
punch anyone in front of him.
looks Bulgarian.
Yeah.
As Borat once said, fuck you, Uzbek.
So, of course,
I thought we didn't get political on this.
That's Borat. Shout out to all our listeners in Uzbekistan.
So he was fighting Andrew Sanchez, and this Sanchez was sporting a luscious mullet in this fight. So you are worried about the mullet power, but in this, Mac just dominated realistically. It was definitely back and forward and got performance of the night, but Mac finished him off and just put him down. So it was big finish in that regard.
Huge knockout, yeah.
Yeah, and then the third fight, Jessica I coming back. She'd been out, I think, at least 18 months. Of course, didn't have a fight last year, versus Calderwood.
Yeah.
Joanne Calderwood. Jojo as her nickname, who
big school like mum vibes there, like school pickup.
Yeah, she does.
Less the tats. Yeah.
So this was in the flyweight division, but she is huge.
Yeah,
she is really tall.
Peps,
compared, well, maybe not that big. But
she's no Nunes.
Yeah. So this is a pretty competitive fight in the end, but Jojo kind of took over. I started off well, and I think Jojo might have been a little bit nervous, but she took over in the second and third round, and then won this by decision. Took everything that I had, and then just started dominating. Just started putting her game plan, and she's big Scottish Celtic woman. Like she's, yeah, definitely got after.
I am blue.
Yeah, she speaks exactly like that as well. It's so good.
So I did an accent good for you.
Yeah. She's actually like really softly spoken though. Like you wouldn't pick her as a fighter. She's like really quiet, sort of timid voice. But
yeah.
Come over here, smash it for Shemai, bro.
Definitely see with your accents.
I was going for Scottish Pingu there. If anyone's seen that one.
Both very high in the flyweight division, in the women's flyweight division. So they'll be getting closer to title fights for JoJo in this one.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Hooker Chandler, what happened?
Co-main event, that one. That was...
Marks, run us through Chandler's background. That's probably the best way, because I knew the name. And last week when we were talking about this, it's like I know the name. Like it's pretty detailed.
Yeah.
There's history there. I just couldn't put a name to a face. And then when I saw it, when they explained his back history, it was like, oh, now I remember Michael Chandler.
Yeah. So, where are we? So he's been around. So he is a NCAA Division 1 wrestler. Fought in Bellator for quite a while. Fought against the likes of Benson Henderson and Eddie Alvarez. Was
UFC vets?
Yep, UFC vets. Both won belts.
Yeah, Alvarez.
Yes, they did. They were both lightweight champions.
Both champs, yep. And he was champ on and off in Bellator.
He was lightweight champ in that division when he left Bellator, became a free agent.
Yep.
Considered one of the most dominant lightweight fighters in the world outside and probably one of the best fighters outside of the UFC.
Right.
He's going on a run. He's 6-1 in his last 7 fights.
Yeah, that's it. So
this was his debut.
Yes,
debut.
So
okay.
he signed contract with the UFC back in September last year. He was going to be the backup for the Khabib Gaethje fight. And then obviously didn't go ahead. So debuted today against Dan Hooker, and what a splash into the UFC.
Yeah. So
finish this one 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah. So Mark and I watched this, and looking at Dan coming out, I don't know if he was a bit off or not. He looked a bit leaner than usual. So I don't know if his weight cut had affected him at all, or maybe a little bit in this. But he, and I guess on a big card as well, pay-per-view for him. Of course, Kiwi, so he's in Abu Dhabi, travelled, the whole deal for that. He just looked off, and Chandler got him on the bike straight away. He was backpedaling a lot. Dan, of course, he had massive reach advantage in this. I think Chandler is 5'8" listed, and Hooker was listed at 6 foot, so a good 4 inches on him.
Yeah, he couldn't set that range though.
No, he just couldn't find his range, and then Chandler was on him, then threw a massive, big, like sweeping right hand, just over the top, and just put Dan out straight away. Just knocked him cold. So it was a great finish, and then very much announcing himself in the lightweight division. He's unranked. Hooker, of course, being 6. Then after it, he cuts an excellent promo. He calls out Dustin, he calls out Connor, whoever wins that. Did he go after Gaethje? I can't remember if he said Gaethje, but he definitely called out Khabib and said, hey, if you want an interesting, fun fight, if you want a real fight, I'm here.
If you want to go 30 and all, you go,
how about you find someone
come through me? Pretty much.
Bold.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that then probably leads into the main event, which is Dustin's 2 and Connor being 4 ranked. Gaethje, of course, being 1. And that must make Ferguson can't be 3. I think Ferguson's 5. Who's 3? Look that up. Anyway, on most people's scorecards, you probably say Connor won round 1. He looked excellent with his hands. He definitely touched Dustin up a little bit. Of course, nothing significant to put him out, but you could see the battle scars on Dustin's face after the fight. Like, he definitely got hit by some decent shots. Recognised a few of them. There was a bit, back and forth chatting in the ring. But Dustin, very much the veteran game, attacked Connor with the calf kicks. Really went after him with the calf kicks, and then in the second round, I think he hit him with like 12 in the first, or 12 in total, maybe like 10 in the first and then 2 in the second. But it hits him with this, I don't want to say it was a complete calf kick because it looks like it hits him more on the kneecap, but it just completely deads Connor's leg. The point that Connor, once he gets hit, does about a 360 and then doesn't move off that spot. So then Dustin throws a punch and then sees Connor's not moving, so he throws another one. Connor's got no lateral movement. He's not going either side. So it's just like, he's right in front of me, and you're fishing the barrel, and he just starts wailing on him. Yeah. And Connor just can't fire anything back. Can't push off his legs. So Dustin just keeps wailing on him. Gets through the guard, knocks Connor down, finishes it off. That's all she wrote. Wins the fight. So
what is
broke his leg in the end. Well, I think the leg kicks ended up actually.
Yeah, I didn't see the fracture there.
Yeah.
What does this mean for both fighters? Does Poirier now get Gaethje, and what's the future for Connor?
Well, Dustin, the commentary after the fight was quite interesting. Dustin kind of seemed like he wasn't thrilled to be there. I think he loved the fighting. I don't think he loved the whole stuff that went around it. So his interview was a little bit interesting after the fight. I think maybe because it was an Abu Dhabi and dealing with that, of course, being an American coming across. Not a huge fan of that whole situation. He said in that post-fight that he thought this he's like, hey, this is 2 and 4. I think this was a title fight. I think this was for the belt. Because if Khabib's retired, then he's vacated the belt. So Justin, of course, lost to him. So it makes sense. Gaethje, of course, losing, Dustin winning this one. So it makes sense that Dustin, he's got that right there, former interim champion that lost to Khabib. It makes sense. So I guess if you want to make the next fight, probably Dustin versus Justin. Poirier versus Gaethje makes sense as the next fight. If you want to keep Gaethje as number 1, so then 1 and 2 makes sense. But then you got Chandler, who's just knocked out 6, who former lightweight champion of Bellator, looks great.
Everyone in the UFC.
But as a comparison, Dustin beat Dan a couple of months ago. A couple of rounds deeper, and then Chandler's just knocked him out in the first. So as a comparative component, you can't do UFC maths is worse than our quick math.
But it makes no sense. It's not just slow; it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can't. There's different matchups. It's always different. But
exactly right.
You can say that hey, maybe the Chandler's makes enough sense now for Dustin, or Dustin actually beat Gaethje not that long ago as well. So there's a revenge fight there. Those 3 will probably compete at some combination for the belt over probably the next year. I'd say each one of them probably fights each other. Maybe Chandler gets McGregor. I'd say probably not, because I don't think McGregor wants many wrestlers at this point. He'd rather, like Dustin was more than happy to bang with him, use the cuff kick game plan. Really showed McGregor's maybe ring rust or ring experience because he's only fought. I think they worked it out. It was Dustin's fought 8 times, and the last time McGregor's fought twice. Dustin talked about after this. I think it was it was Miller. Was it Nathan Miller? He had a fight against one of the Millers in 2017 where he got cut up by a calf kick. So he then included that in his game. Knew that with Conor's wide stance and his boxing stance that he could attack that lead leg, and Conor very much didn't know how to check that. And when he was checking it, he wasn't doing it well enough. Like he's still getting the main contact from the kicks as well. So didn't help his chances in there. But otherwise, Conor looked great in shape. His hands looked excellent.
His boxing was great.
His boxing was great. He didn't have to. His wrestling wasn't too bad. Dustin took him down. He worked his way to the cage very, very quickly. Got back up, separated, and hey, they were back in the stand up. So you can see that he trained and he was improved on that. Probably not beating Khabib, of course. Probably don't want to fight Chandler as a former NCAA Div 1 wrestler.
Does he take an exhibition boxing fight next, Conor, do you think?
Great question, and we'll get to
Jake Paul.
Get to Jake Paul and all that chat. He wants to be competitive, so I think that's probably one of the biggest losses from the UFC in 2020 was the fact they couldn't get McGregor to fight 3 or 4 times, which he wanted to do. He fought once.
Do you reckon this lights the fire in him?
I think so, and I think this is the right division for him. Lightweight makes sense. I don't think he can get down a further division. You can sneak through the back there, Mecca.
Yeah.
Books down. If you're looking for a toilet, second door on your right. In my house. It's for McGregor. I think he wants to fight 3 more times this year. If he can pull that off. So there's definitely matchups
the UFC
there.
would love that.
I think the UFC loves that, but lightweight, there's the murderer's row. If you take those 3 guys out we just mentioned before, who does he fight? You got Tony Ferguson there. It's like, whoa, you don't want to fight Tony Ferguson. And maybe a fight against Dan Hooker makes sense, but Dan's like not a big name, so it doesn't sell.
It doesn't.
So Conor's in that.
So if we go through the rankings, so Khabib's obviously champ for the moment. Then we've got number 1's Poirier. Number 2's
moved him up.
Gaethje. Slides down 1.
That has to be the fight.
It makes sense.
That's has to be the next fight. So number 3 is Oliveira.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And then Michael Chandler comes in at number 4 now. And then after him's Ferguson. Then we've got McGregor at 6. Dos Anjos at 7. And then Dan Hooker rounds out the 8.
That's one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC.
I think lightweight is probably the most stacked. It's got the biggest name fighter in the lot in Conor there, but
Khabib.
Well, Khabib is probably
Obviously
your most
vacated, retired.
Yes, but you're like most dominant champ there. So it's such a stacked division.
Yeah, you've also got Felder in there, Kevin Lee.
Yep.
Stacked.
But again, not really, at least for McGregor's sake, nothing enticing enough of a fight.
Yeah,
money-wise, I guess.
If you take it to this, I think a Conor-Dan Hooker fight was pretty interesting, matchup-wise, and both coming off losses, both kind of in the same sort of bracket now, rankings-wise. But, that's probably a co-main, and I think Conor does want to be the co-main ready. So, yeah.
Bit of Brett Lee vibes about Dan Hooker, just looking at that photo.
Yeah. I can definitely get around that. Dan Hooker,
the
Brett
extent
Lee.
of my UFC input on this one.
Kiwi, of course, so across the ditch.
Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker.
Dan.
So
there you go. That's a good wrap.
Whittaker Costa?
Yes. So a few fights announced in the last couple of days. So Whittaker versus Costa is in April.
Is that going to be a Fight Island one, or they don't know just yet?
It's either there or Apex Center in Las Vegas. That's the only two places they're doing fights at the moment. So I don't think it's go down far enough. So Stipe versus
Stipe's still going.
Yeah, Stipe versus Ngannou is another big fight.
Down.
That is sick.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. There's also Israel's fighting is it Blachowicz?
Blachowicz. Nah, I don't know if that's even right, but it's close.
Jan. We'll go with Jan.
I remember we got it wrong last time.
Yeah. For
Blachowicz.
Yeah, there we go. For the lightweight title. So Israel, of course, is coming up. Whether
that's big for Izzy because Jan is a big human being.
He's a big lightweight. He's got power, but
big light heavyweight, and Izzy sometimes looks skinny at middleweight.
Yeah,
obviously, with Costa saying he's skinny and this and that.
Yeah, but they've kind of. I think it's very much he's trying to entice John Jones. John's, of course, going up to heavyweight, so he's not going to get.
Who's Jones fighting?
I don't think they've got anyone for him yet because they're thinking maybe he gets straight in there a title fight, but then maybe he gets one beforehand. But nearly all the guys, so Overeem versus Volkov, they're like 5 and 6. Blades and Lewis are up in that.
That's 2 and 4.
There you go. Top 5. So they everyone's kind of booked at the moment.
Yeah. Speaking of John Jones, you see some kids rocked up at his place and rang the doorbell, and he's got security everywhere, like cameras everywhere. And he answers, and they go, "John, who do you think wins tonight, Connor or Dustin?" And he went out and had a chat with them, signed some autographs and shit. They're only young kids, 10-year-olds.
Yeah. And the card. The next person that tries that's getting the head kicked in, I reckon.
Well, I think
if they're not children.
Yeah, I think he did post something like, don't normally like unwelcome visitors, but always got time with the kids, something like that. Pretty classy.
He's hard to hate. Everything about him you should hate.
All the controversial stuff that's gone on and all the controversy. Out of the octagon stuff. I love John Jones. Bones Jones.
So the other championship fight we probably should mention is Usman versus Gilbert Burns. Run back the fight they missed out on because Burns got COVID and Masvidal came in and fought him. So another pretty stacked. They've finally kind of announced the next 3 to 4 months worth of fights in the UFC, and there's some really great fights coming on. I think that back to where we started, the Whittaker versus Costa fight, that's a huge fight for Whittaker. I'm a little bit concerned. Costa, of course, coming off the loss against Israel, but with Whittaker's chin being a little bit suspect, he has been getting hit and
Yeah, I
been
was gonna
wobbled.
say,
He's still been winning, but some of those fights he gets touched up, and you get a little bit worried that hey, maybe it's not going to work.
someone with a bit more power, but quicker actually drops him.
Yes, and someone like Costa who has unreal power, you'd worry about that happening.
The bodybuilder fighter.
Yes. Does he pass the sniff test? Not sure yet.
Don't know, you've been sniffing recently.
So I think that wraps up our UFC news.
Yes.
What's
going on in the world of exhibition fighting?
Exhibition fighting. So Big Thor, the Mountain himself, had his first boxing match against Steve Ward, I think was his actual name. So
the bodybuilder.
Yes. So the strong man. Let's go.
Strong man, I should
The
say.
Mountain. So Thor the Mountain versus Steve Ward. Ward's actually a cruiserweight. What? So I think they had some kind of crossing and...
It's like Hulk Hogan and Rocky when they do that.
Monk, see if you can find some pictures from this. And I've watched the full fight. It went 3 rounds.
Any good?
The Mountain better than you'd think considering his knees and how much size he has. Had some decent back and forth movement.
How would you knock that bloke out?
He couldn't.
You physically, what do you do?
It seems physically impossible.
See, I think the full fight's on YouTube. See if you can find it. James will bring it up. But
he's like 6'9" for one.
Yes. He was 400 pounds. I think he was 360 odd for this. Like
he got the deadlift record ever last year.
But
that video itself is terrifying.
He got a bit touched up in this. So
really,
he's fighting a professional boxer. So you scroll down a little bit.
Steve the Quiet Man Ward.
Yeah,
is that Ward there in the black?
So I think yes. Yeah. So they crossed over. They crossed over a bit, I think, in training and sparring, and they.
Oh my god!
Like half a foot taller.
He's so much bigger. Like the actual in the fight, he's way bigger than him. Anyway, the Mountain was doing. I think he lost a bit of his technique in the 3rd round. He was throwing these hooks from from his waist and going sideways. Like they were pretty bad. So I think once he learns to straighten it up a bit, of course he's preparing for his Eddie Hall fight at the end of the year.
That's who I was thinking of. Apologies, man. Yeah, Eddie Hall fight.
Yeah, so that's coming up, but this is him preparing for it. So, yeah, he showed some pretty good motion considering he's had a bad knee injuries, which you'd expect from a bloke his size.
Walk around 400 pounds.
Yeah, lifting twice that. It wasn't too bad. It's not funny to watch, but it's interesting to watch.
Yep.
I'm not looking forward to the full Eddie Hall Thor fight. Like I'm not sure how that's going to go down.
It's a real slobber knocker.
At least the Mountain showed he has a chin. He did get tagged in this a fair bit. I don't think he landed anything really significant. He knocked over Ward, but he hit him like on the back. On his back shoulder, Ward had turned. They hit him on the shoulder, and just the force of it just knocked him, pushed him on the ground. So there's power there. He just needs to use his power and just land it. So see how he does it against Eddie Horn. Yeah. That's probably enough chat about that fight. See if you can
more airtime
just go to YouTube and see if you can find it. And while we kind of talk about it's the last 30-minute scroll. Like you skip through it.
What was this even on?
It's just I don't know, some no-name kind of promotions. Yeah, you're in the fight now, but just let it roll.
So the Mountain was
good. Nice haircut.
Almost 60 kilos heavier than.
Yeah, that's great.
60 kilos. How many weight divisions?
I told you he was
all of them.
He was that's the end. He was cruiserweight. Go back about 10 minutes. No, it's too far.
Oh god,
that'll be the walkout. Yeah, somewhere in there. That'll do. I
can't imagine there's much pace to this one.
No. The Award very much ring control going around.
Gloves up. He would need to have his gloves up. Have
look how much bigger he is than
so big, dude. Have you seen?
This is good radio. This
we're looking at Man Mountain throwing hooks from the waist, 180 degrees.
He looks like two. He looks like two of those Ward.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he probably is. Cruiserweights were like 180. He'd be pretty close to.
Well, three. He was 350. So
pounds,
close to it. All right, the Mountain walks in here. How Do you reckon we could take him in this confined space? The
All
four
four
of
of
us.
us?
The four of
All
us
four
in this
of us.
confined space.
I think 4 of us go through that window and he drinks it.
He takes the Esky with him and goes.
Yeah. And roots our missus.
I'm sure he's a lovely bloke. I do know his 2 brothers, I think, are actually bigger than him. So
What?
yeah, there is that too. Really?
How is that possible?
Oh, yeah.
What's it with
poor woman.
Iceland?
It's that fucking blood, bro.
They produce some huge humans,
Oh, definitely.
like some really huge humans.
This is sloppy.
Yeah, it's not a great boxing match. It's very sloppy.
It also looks like Ward's not wearing shoes. He's got the tube sock treatment going on.
Yeah.
But you can see he keeps his range. He works it around.
He's a boxer.
He's a boxer. Like he tags the mountain up when he throws very loose, like big hooks, which I think maybe he frustrated the mountain a little bit because he then just follows it up, like he rushes in, he
Rage
blitzes
mode.
in. So yeah,
Oh my
how'd you find
God.
the brothers? Did you?
I don't know. I don't know how big are, but they look.
This
That's
is
his
his father
father and
and
grandfather.
grandfather, and
That's his granddad.
his
Oh my
granddad.
his
God.
father is taller than him.
So the one below that, that's his 2 brothers.
That
His
guy's
two
got to be
brothers
8
are-
foot tall.
So they'll both be over 7
That
foot.
is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they make the mountain look
literal
short.
giants in Iceland.
Yeah.
So he's 6'9". That guy is easily.
He's a head taller than him.
He's 6 inches easily tall. He's
Easy.
7'3". Easy.
Can we? Can you just go to the one on the left of that one, please, Jim? Just of the current one. No, the left. Just
Yeah,
get that
yeah,
one there.
yeah.
This poor girl.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's his missus as well. So.
That is his
She,
missus,
yeah,
okay.
because there's a picture of them down under that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, she is tiny. That
Yeah.
poor thing.
Yeah. it's just like Shaq and his missus. Like,
Oh, good on her, hey?
big man.
Yeah, good on her. Good on her. Good luck to her.
Anyway, I think we've covered the mountain enough. Let's finish up with the boxing with Jake Paul. So back to McGregor. McGregor was
The biggest name in fighting, apparently, these
yeah.
days.
So McGregor was trying to, Jake Paul was angling for a McGregor fight, offered him 50 mil, brought his wife into it. Had, I think, 4 fighters he was trying to negotiate with, but Ben Askren, the only one to sign on the dotted line. Very interesting, long-term mixed martial artist, great wrestler, but of course signs on the dotted line for a boxing fight. So
Who was it that put Askren absolutely to sleep last time he was out in the UFC?
Masvidal.
George Masvidal
Masvidal.
with a flying knee, which you can't do in boxing. So Jake, I think, came out already and says, "I'm going to knock you out faster than Masvidal did," and I was like, "Well, you can't throw a knee," but we
That was
just
that one
see.
in like the first 10 seconds.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
great. That was the shadow realm. That
Yes.
was them, put him in there.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jake Paul getting a knee to the face, though.
Yeah.
So
I think for all the
take the DQ.
I think Ben
for
Ask-
all of us.
Ben Askren, for all the dads out there, just needs to slap him up a bit, knock some sense into him,
I hope he does.
show us what he's all about.
Did you see Jake Paul on socials after kind of got dropped?
Yeah, I think he's like, I'll change
give
my
you
offer
10K.
to 10K.
Oh, it is so grim. But then, like, this is a fighting game. Like, Connor's just got to cop it. You're now a meme.
Yeah.
If you're knocked out, you're now a meme.
Yeah.
So you just have to wear it.
Yeah.
And to
Yeah,
his
I mean,
credit, he actually wore it pretty well. But, like, it's so cringe.
It's cringy, isn't it?
And,
He's the biggest shit talker in the world, possibly.
yeah, but, you know, he's fought twice and won twice.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Can't
Logan-
argue with the credentials.
Logan Paul's fighting Floyd Mayweather. Is that a real thing?
Yep.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
Yes,
When is that?
Yeah,
by
when
the
is
way?
that happening?
that's happening. That wasn't.
Yeah,
that's
happening.
really
Yeah,
a thing.
There's so much money.
That is the most
It'll be
millennial
I think it'll be boring.
February
2021.
I think it'd be boring because Mayweather doesn't knock guys out his own size.
No, and if he wanted to, I feel he could. But
But he's a boxer. He's a boxer. He's just, I don't think Paul touches him.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mayweather has, this is speculative, has the power to knock him out.
But if you punch a guy in the head 130 times, then I think he's going to go
True.
down.
Maybe.
Logan might get the Max Holloway treatment in this. Like,
Yeah.
the most significant strikes in a boxing match. Like, if he really
I'll
wants
say
to.
right now, Logan was impressive in that Nate Rob. Who do you have?
Jake beat
Jake
Nate
dropped
Robinson.
Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
But who Logan?
Logan only fought
He lost to that
KSI
K
twice.
That's right,
Tommy.
that
But that
YouTuber.
actually, that was two fairly similar blokes having a hack at it. Like,
Yeah,
but
similar
this is
sort of build, similar sort of background, and
But there's no chance that he lands a sweet one on Mayweather.
no.
yeah.
The
the
best
dude that's
boxer of all
50 and
time.
0. Like,
Like
Like it's just like the fact it's getting airtime is I don't
us
like
morons
it,
are talking about it.
Yeah, like they've gotten what they wanted. Like if Logan Paul gets knocked out, then he makes videos about it and laughs about it himself.
Yeah.
And makes a shit ton of money.
Like if they're making it.
Hey, I hope you guys had a light bulb moment on the Esky. Let's start calling out some fighters.
I got my boy Pepsi here. He's been calling out Jake Paul for an hour. You a real bitch, Jake.
That's it.
John Jones, where you at? John Jones, where you at?
Hey, you can wear one kick to the head, Peps. I reckon you got it in you.
Perhaps you're
Think of the
6'6".
money you can make.
You have to fight heavyweights, bro. So
Right now, dude.
Not women though. Let's keep it.
we'll have to find some big heavyweight YouTubers for you to box. Anyway,
Yeah, love or hate it, we're talking about it. So
let's finish up with that and then move into some ball sports. Let's NBA.
NBA, yes.
So run us through, Peppy. What's happened in the last couple of days?
Well, just about a week, actually exactly a week since last time we were broadcasting. So Thursday over there, Knicks upset the Warriors. Warriors, Joseph, will they be a playoff team? Thoughts?
One word, no.
No?
I don't think so. I think the way that team is built, you got Steph who's going to volume shoot. He's going to get his shots up.
Yep.
You then got Wiggins and a rookie in Wiseman who looks the part. He looks every bit the top 5 draft pick, and he's going to be something. So being in that Warriors system is going to be good for him. That's a successful system. That's how you get good young players. You put them around good people, they become good. So that's going to be a good thing. He's not ready now. Wiggins,
19-year-old center. You guys don't dominate at center till the mid-20s.
and he is a new age center. He's not your Shaq. He's not going to come in here and take 25 rebounds. He's going to get his shots up. He's going to shoot the rock. Draymond's Draymond. He sits in the middle. He's still a handy defender. It could be an 7 or 8 seed. That'd be fun to watch. They'd be fun. Steph in the playoffs. You cannot hate Steph Curry. He's the most likable superstar.
Kelly Oubre is doing a bit.
He's cute. That's what everyone says. That's what social says. He's cute. He's finally hitting some 3-pointers, but to me,
It seems like they're relying on Curry to drop 60 at the moment.
They'll need him to go.
It's a couple throwaway seasons for the Warriors, really, because Clay going out is just heartbreaking. Because if Clay's in there, there's a story there. There's 50 points a game there between Clay and Steph. Then you can start actually working.
Yeah,
but I don't think. I mean, Knicks. It says Knicks. We've got Knicks upset there. Knicks have actually put together a little season. They're building something out there. If Knicks are good, basketball is good. But Julius Randle, former Laker, shout out to him. We
17 boards.
He's getting triple doubles. I've got my theories about triple doubles, but I'll leave that. We'll be here all night. What else we have? Lakers
just give us under 10 seconds your thoughts on triple doubles. Fake stat.
I think it is now a fake stat. If your guards are getting boards, that means they're not defending on the perimeter. They're too close to the rim. Jordan never got boards because he was halfway up the ring, scoring more points.
Yes.
Nikola Jokic's great point. Take more than 10 seconds. Sorry. That's all right. He's averaging triple double, which is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. If you actually watch Nuggets games
from a center,
if you watch a Nuggets game, he catches it at the free throw line. He's the biggest man on the court. Take it to the hole. He's actually kicking it out because of this.
Yeah, he bullies back, and then kicks out.
I'd rather Jokic be getting 30 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists than 20, 10 and 10. I actually think he's hurting the team. And if you look at their record, they were conference final champions. There's nothing's changed about their team.
Yeah. They're barely above 500.
I think they're at 500 or just below or just above. I think the whole obsession. Luka, you guys were talking about last week about Luka having more triple doubles than Jordan.
Awesome.
It doesn't matter.
Awesome. When Westbrook got the MVP and he had that was I thought that, oh my God, that's incredible.
Averaged one.
But then he did it again. And it's like, you're getting rebounds as the point guard. You should actually be doing. Again, I'll be here all day, but that's. I think
we get the picture.
Yeah, but Julius Randle getting 11 assists or something, that's not really how you want to build a team, I think. Unless I'm proven wrong and then the whole game is going to change to your bigs, being that kick-out pass. Andrew Bogut was actually pretty good with the Warriors. But he wasn't,
He's not.
It's the stat padding in the NBA is just it's pandering to their superstar.
Well, it's the hype. Exactly. The hype's the moment.
100%. And with fantasy, I think we're all fantasy.
I got to get my stats. I got to get my minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. And you come to a contract and you say, look, I average a triple double.
When I wonder, and this is probably not something that we can Google, but when it started being a thing, You know, because I'm sure it wasn't a thing back in the 70s.
No, or even
in the 80s.
But I mean, 10 years ago, it wasn't a thing. Like Kobe was never one to, grab rebounds.
I reckon I heard the term, but now it's
oh yeah. Look,
it was all buckets. Like
Steven Adams got a triple double. Like, if Steven Adams got a triple double 5 years ago, you'd go, oh my god, he did so much that game. It's just feeding, and you notice it's happening with shitty teams. Yeah. So what does it mean if Again, Jokic, Randall, you're getting triple doubles. Your team's 500. Your team's 500. So good on you. You got yours.
Yeah.
I'd rather Randall be backing it down, getting 25, getting some gritty boards, getting some blocks up.
Yeah.
I don't care that you're passing the ball.
Yep.
But with the 3-point shot, obviously it's a lot more spaced. You want to go in and out. The screen, pick and roll games.
Yeah,
evolve.
And maybe it's the game changing a little bit.
It could be a trend, and I'm a dinosaur that's too far behind it. But I just
the 3-point game really came into it massive a couple of years ago when the Warriors just completely dominated.
100% volume shooting.
Yeah.
Now, exactly. You don't need a big center sitting there, not just getting blocks. You're actually clogging up space. Then get out of there. We'll play 5 shooters like that. Look at the Rockets, what they've done. But. That's for another day. I've spent a lot more than 10 seconds on it. Sorry.
That's all right. It was intriguing.
Nets dropped 2 in a row to the Cavs. We're talking about that a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Sexton looked great in that series.
Yeah. I think he had a little niggle the game after this one. I think he played the next Cavs game, his 30 minutes or whatever he normally does. Nuggets and Suns had an absolute shootout. Went over 250s. Nugs get that by 4. Moving into Saturday, the Nets finally got back in the winner's circle against the Heat.
What are the Heat doing at the moment after they made finals last year?
Not
hovering, nothing fancy. Winning, again,
Tyler Herro hasn't been playing.
No, he hasn't.
Jimmy Buckets are there?
I think they're the 5
Buckets
seed.
Been playing.
But Jimmy's been getting his. I think they're the 5 seed. I'll check that right now.
Okay.
I beg your pardon. They are stinking. They're 6-11.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking of the Pacers, who are doing all right.
Yeah, I didn't think
6-11. But did you see the after this one, Kyrie and Bam going to swap jerseys?
No, I did not.
So they were sweating over each other for 48 minutes, and then Bam and Kyrie went to do the jersey swap. Security jump over him. You can't do that.
Yeah.
And then they've sort of snuck it. And then gone back to each other, and they literally were holding the jersey under their undershirt. It was so. I mean, it's what we have to deal with in 2021. But
as anyone that's listened to my little rants on the Esky in the last sort of 4 weeks, fuck off with all these bullshit rules. Let the boys play.
Let them play.
Let them play.
Let them beat them.
Let them play.
Yeah.
Completely different story if they hadn't been sweating all over each other and hands and asses and whatever other body parts touching other body parts. Sunday night, the Celtics put 140 on the Cavs, did what the Nets were unable to do. Jaylen Brown had 33 in that. Monday was a nice day for us here in Australia. Obviously, Tuesday, Australia Day. The Pistons upset the 76ers. No Joel Embiid. He's obviously been fire.
A little bit worried about our boy Benny Simons.
Shout
out Ben Simons. Ben Simmons.
What's going on?
There's just been no improvement anyway.
He's good, but he's not what you'd expect.
No, take the jump shot out of it, then 3-point shot. He's just been pretty much the same player the last 3 years.
Yeah.
He's another one of those that'll get get his stats, but
but it's like 12, 8 and 7.
which is fine because he's very good on the defensive side. He's just, you'd expect a bit more. He's getting paid a lot of money, but you can say that in the NBA everyone's on $200 million contracts. But he's.
Would you say that though this year maybe that's just his role because they brought in all the shooters to then?
I don't. Yeah, like I said, I think you take the shooting out of it with Ben. Like that's a cycle. That's something that will be talked about for 50 years. How he makes a 3-pointer and it goes off in group checks. Like, oh my god, Ben Simmons hit a shot today. Yeah. But it's the Sixers are going well this year, so that maybe it is. And like you said, they've brought in pieces to fit with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of
fit that game.
There's still the chat that him and Embiid just once one goes, the other one will take off. But yeah, I think on the defensive side, he's a point guard who's nearly 7 foot. So that alone opens up so much for them. So I think, but again, I've just had a bitch about stats, but you've just sort of seen the same sort of thing. He doesn't really have a move either. Like it's just, he's got some breakaway dunks. He doesn't really have his set move where you go, oh, here we go, he's at the elbow. It's money. Yeah. It's just
he just drives home all the time.
Yeah. Well, but again, he's 7 foot guard. So
yeah.
Take it away, Peps. What else do we have there?
Well, I was just going to say Australia Day. Shout out to Marty Cooge. If you've made it this far, we were watching the basketball at your house. Shout out to Dave McFadden. He was up. He had
that was shattering.
Two multis in play. We're chasing about 600 here. Wow. Last leg in 2 multis. One was big old Lugansk Dort. Old Dort. My son is also named Dort. That joke was made multiple times that day. Do you know he's Canadian? I didn't know that.
Lou Dort is Canadian.
Yeah, I thought he had to be European, something wacky. Apparently just Canadian.
French Canadian?
That's as wacky as it gets, Canadian.
Back to the Haitians. Shout out to the Haitians. I think, I believe he's Haitian.
Lou Dort, great left arm orthodox as well, actually. Keep believing. Switched away in his prime.
And he's playing 6 at South next year. So we needed him to have 2 threes. He got his first 3 about 4 minutes into the game. Money, we're on here, money. And
just one more
then
3,
just
please, Lou.
Brick, and also wide open looks and just not.
Kick it to him.
Just not getting an absolute absolute heartbreaker there. Then the other one, the last leg was Jamal Murray overs.
16 and a half, I think. So 17 for the win, and he gets
and he gets ejected for a little sack whack. And when I say little, it was a blatant sack whack. It was
he punched another man's penis.
Was it wrist flick? Like wrist flick? Like loose fingers?
No. It was closed. It was closed. It was like the old I think the Kung Fu masters say the 1-inch punch, just a
one of those ones.
One of those ones. Just
Mr. Miyagi.
Like that, yeah, and absolutely dropped the other bloke, and he gets ejected. We miss out on our cashola because of that. Typical punting.
Now you've all heard our terrible punters club stories. So that's why you signed up to on the Esky. Lou Dort, you dick.
Oh, Dort.
Celtic,
Tatum returns. He gets 24 in their win over the Bulls. Massive for the Celtics.
They are looking good. Jaylen Brown has quietly become a top 15, nearly top 10 player. You throw Jason Tatum in there.
Yeah.
Brad Stevens, coach.
Yep.
I think them Philly Nets. That's your top 3.
4.
Oh, yeah.
Them Philly Nets Bucks top 4.
Exactly. So the East. It's funny how it happens. LeBron goes West, and now all of a sudden the East has all the competitive teams. So I think there's your top 4. Your finals are coming out of that, and then you've got one of the LA teams. Really, I can't see anyone else coming out of the West.
No, agreed. Given.
What do you think about Utah though? 10-game win streak at the moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, I actually get the Jazz and the Nuggets mistake. If you put them together, they're actually the same. They've got, a couple bigs, a couple guards that are actually the same.
They got mountains, one's Mormons, one's Stoners.
Yeah, it's all the same stuff. When it comes down to it, and again, I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm doing this very one-eyed. When it's LeBron and Anthony Davis are 2 of the 5 players you can put out there against, Spider Mitchell. I know what I'm doing over a 7-game series. Right. Absolutely, they're on fire right now, and it's just sort of gross the way the game's evolved into super teams and stuff.
Yeah,
Clippers. Yeah, they've got the names on paper, but I mean, look what the Lakers did last year. Got to the bubble, and it was how it's over. True. Phoenix are my sort of fun team in the West. Fun team that could do anything. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, it's gross. Wherever we are in the season, it's probably 6 teams. I could see it. 6 out of 30.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
It's a fifth of the league.
That's no different in the NFL or anywhere else.
I guess it's true. If you crunch the quick math.
Yeah, quick math. 6 of 30. I think we're quitting quick math.
That's what do it for it. But,
the new segment next week: quick geography. And
you're all over that.
/ Bulgarian Uzbek Tajik flag matching.
I reckon, little side project for you, Pepsi. Little flags of the world.
Well, I used to have it on the back of the shitter growing up.
Before went to times tables. This makes sense now.
That's right.
No quick math.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, listen.
2 times 2 is 8. But that's the flag of Aruba. Moving on, today's games, the 76ers get a 1-point sneaky victory over the Lakers. Lakers dropped a few this week, actually. And poor old Bradley Beal.
That's one of the saddest stories of 2020.
Isn't it? Really. Oh, mate. If anyone's got back and shoulders problems from carrying teams, Poor bloke puts up 47 today against Pels. They still lost by like 13 or something. He had 37 shots from the field, so I think that's going to be.
Shooter's got to shoot.
Yeah, you get ball, you shoot ball. For Paul Bradley
But I mean, that poor bloke. Like you actually see it on him. He's like so upset because he wants to be the guy to make Wizards good, but he knows it physically can't happen. So he's in this spot where.
He's wasting good years.
Well, exactly. I've wasted my prime. Do I do what, a Durant does and piss off to a team, make a super team? Or I know, woe is me, bloke making $35 million a year.
Yeah, but you still got to win.
This is what you are. When you're in that mindset, you're not the four blokes sitting around with microphones talking about you. Yeah. You are actually, this is what he's doing every night. Like it's
LeBron did it when he was in Cleveland.
Yeah, exactly. And like they're just different beasts. So the poor bloke, you actually see him pouring his heart out. There was a stat, speaking of the Wizards and the trade they made they gave up Wall and a first for Westbrook. Westbrook has on the season 163 points. He's put up 163 shots.
Oh my goodness!
Like you want to think 47 from 37. That's his. He looks shattered. Like he looks like a tired human because he's just like you want to talk about Simmons driving the lane. Westbrook drives to the lane and they just stand in front of him and he goes, Like there was a clip on Instagram. He tried to kick it out and then he sort of got it back to him and he didn't know what to do with it. This is a man who won the MVP 3 years ago.
Yeah, in a record-breaking season.
I just don't know what you do with him because he's on again. Teams don't take on those contracts for a bloke. There's chat of the Nets won out with Kyrie, so next year maybe they make the Thunder reincarnated because they'll have the cap room. But
that's a story.
Yeah, it'd be, but I mean, he'd look because he's got like 3-point shots. So what do you do with a bloke who can't drive, can't do? Yeah, this is where he rebounds from the guard spot.
Yeah, gone full circle. Gone absolutely full circle.
So that is a stink team, the Washington Wizards. That's So Paul Beal, shout out to you.
Speaking of Westbrook, what happened with him and John Wall? They have a little discussion.
Yeah, they're a bit of trash talking. I think was the best way. I'm not sure who instigated it, but. Washington was definitely not Washington. Westbrook was probably the most animated of the two, getting stuck in the wall. Wall, I think, was probably giving him a little bit back. But they were just friendly chat, friendly words were exchanged. That's probably the best way.
Gentlemen exchanging it. I mean, that like I said, they're the two blokes that were
involved in that
in that trade.
So there's history there. So
there's a bit of back but I mean, Wall, he's one of those blokes that injuries cut him down. He's on the max contract, so.
It's looking all right for them, though.
The Rockets seem to come out all right with this. I mean, they had everything they got for Harden. I mean, they've got draft picks. That's just what you do in the NBA.
Yeah.
You try and reach the pinnacle. They ran into Warriors. They ran into LeBron. Okay, that was 5 years. We just have to start again. Yep. Let's load up and go again.
This season's done.
Yeah.
We got a shitload of potential talent coming in.
Absolutely. We just have to do it again. And they'll be remembered. Like, when we talk about the Warriors in 10, 20 years' time who did they beat to get there? Because, we talk about Jordan beating the Pistons and stuff. Like, they have a spot in history, like in it. Like, they absolutely do. Like, they invented this ISO, put up a heap of 3-point shots. They should have beaten the Warriors in a Game 7. Who knows what could have happened, but unfortunately you miss out. You scrap it, start again.
Yeah. No one remembers who comes second.
No.
Except for... I was going to make an inappropriate joke there.
You can tell us that one later.
It's your Bucks this week, and I'll make a couple of those.
I'd say there'd be a few inappropriate things mentioned this weekend.
Definitely. So I guess to finish up on the NBA, the last story, was it Wednesday? Wednesday was exactly a year since the passing of Kobe Bryant.
Wednesday our time, Tuesday theirs. Look, this all needs to be said.
Yeah,
Kobe, everyone
for
misses
Kobe. Absolutely.
Obviously his wife and daughters that left behind.
And as well as the rest of the families. That were
horrible,
like, it's just, I just remember being so shocked. Like, it was just
such an odd way as well.
Yeah, isn't it?
Just a complete accident.
And you see the outpouring on Wednesday, not just on Wednesday, but on like every day since. Like, he meant a lot more than being a good basketball player. Like, he was... like, he transcended the game.
Yeah, the mama mentality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so everyone misses worldwide.
Absolutely.
I think LeBron put up 40 on this day as well.
He did.
He did.
I think
because it was
a bit of fire in the belly there.
It was a week earlier LeBron overtook Kobe for most points all time.
Yep.
So it was all about that for a little bit, and then all of a sudden, holy shit!
Yeah,
like so,
Yeah.
we don't. Yeah, like you said, we don't spend too much time on that. Just, I mean, again, a figure that meant more than dribbling a basketball. So,
yep, legend.
R.I.P. to the Mamba.
All right, I
that
think
wraps us up, except for the NFL.
yes. So
The juicy part.
the last bit, we'll finish up with the NFL for the week. So I guess, do you want to start off with your correction? Because when you said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure they didn't play together. But anyway.
Oh, this was big.
You should have called me out.
This was,
I was scratching my head. I was just like, I'll let it slide. Well,
This was a bad miss, and I'm going to do it on the Esky first, and I'm going to scull a beer live.
Thank you. I'll cover this one because this is probably the reason I'm in the room. The last week with the boys were talking about all the great, the great college teams, then Pepsi dropped the 2001 Miami Hurricanes team with Ray Lewis and Ed Reen. Ray Lewis having been in the NFL for 6 years at that point. This was literally the moment I stopped, rewound it, listened to it, and then I called Peps. I said, mate, you have got to be kidding me. I mean, I know I'm a big Ravens fan, but that is a glaring omission.
This one bad miss. Much like Joseph's footwork in Sunday social cricket.
We don't even bring up fourth ball duck on Sunday, boys. Fourth ball duck.
Oh, no, but I got this one really bad. Missed it by a long way, and I'm going to do our first ever skull live during the podcast. It's just a mid-strength. I'm not driving home. Jimmy's got those honours. Horrible miss there.
Big miss.
And apologies to anyone that may have picked up in the listening.
to any Ravens fans.
Yeah. Miami fans. Chuck up the U. It's all about the U, baby. But that team was fire, that 2001 team. I think it was 20 draft picks or something. But
Ray Lewis.
Take us away with. Are we going to start NFC?
Yes. Well, conference games. Let's go with the Bucks versus the Pack. So in the end, the Bucks get the win.
Shout out to Jimmy, by the way, sporting a little bit of Buccaneers attire over there.
Just a little bit.
No,
this is old McCoy.
There's old McCoy, Joe McCoy.
Oh, the real McCoy, if you would.
The real McCoy. Yeah. Sue wears 93, doesn't he?
He does.
Yes, he does now.
Yeah. It's just still relevant.
Monk's the only one, of course.
Skull next week.
Monk's, of course, picking the winner out of this because we both went the Pack.
Yeah, completely analytical, nothing to do with team or anything like that.
Of course not, yeah.
So we'll run through some key plays. So Mike Evans opens the scoring on a corner route.
Who was the corner in that one?
Beats the great Kevin King in coverage.
That might be a common
That'll
theme.
probably be the last time we reference Kevin King.
I think look further on and see what happens.
Yeah, so then MVS begins his...
Give me his name, Sean, in full, please.
Without it on the screen, I can't remember it.
Martavius, is it
Martavius.
Marquez.
You're looking at it.
I am looking.
I know the last bit, Scanley.
Helping you along.
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
Scantling. Yeah. I don't remember the last bit.
Valdez.
Mouthful.
MVS will do from this point going forward.
Yes. Starts off his big day. So he gets a 50-yarder bomb on this. I'm not sure who the corner was, but he tried to dive and try to take the ball out of this and missed. And then, of course, MVS untouched then goes into the end zone.
Interesting point there. He has 5 touchdown receptions now, 4 in the season, 1 in the postseason of over 40 yards.
Well known for his deep threat ability.
Yeah, deep threat, and that was more than guys like Tyreek Hill, DK, anyone else that you think might go deep. MVS had that for this season. So shout out to him.
So Fournette then gives the Bucks a 14-7 lead with a hard run. He takes it.
That was hard run. That was
a couple of spin moves.
Yeah, spin move, a little bit jig as well. The whole lot. The complete package in that run.
Gets it through the right pile
24 yards, I think it was.
Like that.
Playoff Lenny.
Yes. And then the Pack then kick their first field goal. And we might come back and talk about the field goals because this one was interesting. Brady then was showing some good arm strength. He had a long completion to Godwin, but then he had a big TD to Scotty Miller.
And who was covering Scotty Miller in that play?
I believe it was Kevin King.
Who wasn't.
To King's defense, they went out for was it a punt or a field goal? Because I think they're at midfield. It was for a punt, and then they called timeout, and they went, we've got 6 seconds left. We may as well throw it deep. And it was similar to the Jets Raiders game, you go single high man coverage with 6 seconds left.
No safety.
Put 11 guys on the goal line.
Prevent.
Just man 3 deep. We're all Madden players here. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah.
Like, and it's like it's Scotty Miller. He's their 4th best receiver.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got gat. He just burned him.
He's got wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
just
he's
shocking.
he's playing inside leverage, so you're going to give him the outside, but don't let him get behind you.
Yeah.
It's probably the main thing.
Yeah. And then going into the half, an absolute dagger, momentum shifting play, and a real head scratcher from the defensive call.
Because I think the pack would have been
Mike Pettin,
happy to go in at 14-10 at half time.
Yeah,
like that.
big time.
That's
That's
fine.
Absolutely.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the way the Bucks, I think the Bucks went 5 or 6 on third down in the first half.
They were.
And they were long.
Like they was 14 yards, 9 yards. Like they were.
I think
like
the average
Brady
is like
looked-
9. For
They just stout defense for the first couple, and then we'll let up a big play. Like that's deflating. If you can't get Brady off the field, you're asking for a bad jam.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think
Take
that
the ball out of his
was one of 2 questionable calls in this game, which may have cost the Pack a Super Bowl appearance.
Oh, yeah.
So it's then followed by Cameron Bright scoring a touchdown to touchdown to take it to 28-10, following Devin White forced fumble. Devin White, I thought, had an excellent game in this one.
He's a beast.
He's been
He's a beast.
insane in the
He
playoffs.
was a Pro Bowl snub, I think. Snub.
Well, he's
Quite
actually he said that to Brady. He said, I'm really flat. I didn't make the Pro Bowl. And Brady grabbed him and said, we've got a bigger bowl. We're worried.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
That's
worry
fair.
about that.
Fair
And
enough.
it's not even happening this year.
Yeah. But again, it comes down to incentives and contracts. And recognize.
Might have missed half a
I
million
think he
or
had
250 or something.
I think he had 15 tackles. Or maybe was that last week or this week?
No,
he
this
had
week
15 tackles. That's everywhere.
And the fumble
That's
recovery.
He's
everywhere.
all over the place.
Yeah.
He's
sideline to
beast.
sideline, and he's so fast for a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Like
Him and David in the middle, that is...
That's the
That's the
defense
best.
strength.
That's the best 2 middle linebackers in a
absolutely.
3-4 defense. In the
And then
NFL.
you've got Shaq Barrett and JPP on the outside. Like that's a linebacking core. And the big boys in the middle.
playing in the middle, yeah.
Yeah.
They've got
their front 7 is
Vita Vea in there. He came back.
Yeah.
That's too bad they don't have a corner to save their lives. But you don't need them when you've got 7
Yeah,
destroyers like that.
That's right. Well, when you get in Rodgers 5 times in the game, you've done well up front. Let's keep running through the game. We were at 28-10 when Brake goes in there.
Yes, then Tonya scores his touchdown to take it to 28-17. That was off Adrian Amos pick.
Amos, maybe.
Sorry. Devonta Adams then scores a 28-23 to touchdown, so bringing it closer, but St. Brown drops the 2 point.
Bad
You don't want to try the first one?
Hell no, you try it.
Equanimous?
That'll play.
I think that's it.
That drop was a stinker.
Yeah, well, because
Sue did get a finger on it, but that's just,
It was big.
you got to eat that. You got to eat that. And they get that 2, and all of a sudden
it's a field goal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they love kicking in Green Bay. So
We'll get to that. Jair Alexander picks off Brady
Twice.
he was
couple
everywhere.
He was pretty
ducks.
good.
He is.
Very good.
I'm going to say this. He's in top 3 corners in the NFL.
He had an excellent
Behind
year
Marcus
last year.
Peters and Marlon Humphrey. Absolutely. Good call.
Yeah, your purple glasses. Right.
So the
But
Pac-
yeah, he was
Joseph, have you got dyslexia? Purple glasses.
Yes.
I think that's what they do.
Bit of Elton John treatment.
So the Packers can't capitalise on this, and the Bucks kick a field goal to go 31-23.
Yep, 8
So,
point lead.
Third and goal for the Pack. There's all the talk about could Rodgers run it in. If you look at the tape, Devin White's 10 yards in front of him, and he's got JPP a yard behind him.
Yeah. Yep.
There's no way he's picking up that first down. Maybe he gets 5 and makes the 4th down manageable, but
That's what I'm thinking, because the throw he makes is running away across it. Granted, it's a Devonta Adams who normally catches everything. He had a stinker as well. He was dropping everything. You need to run. Oh, fuck. Again, here I am in my couch in Canberra going, run the ball, man. Like,
just get killed by Devin White.
Do it like he's Aaron Rodgers. He knows I'm about to get my head ripped off. I'm going to go down for 3 yards.
Yeah.
Then we'll get to Sean. Tell us what happens next, because I'm going to scream. I'm going to wake up your young child here.
You texted me straight away, and I thought, no, I don't think he gets in the end zone. But looking back on it, you're like, well, no, he doesn't get in the end zone, but maybe they're a yard or 2 out,
Which
and
makes
they've got
this decision easier.
and then they've got a crack. instead of kicking the field goal with 2 minutes left and giving it back to the greatest player to ever put
Exactly.
on
Like if you think
helmet.
it's 4-4, just run a quick slant to Adams. He's probably going to beat his man, hit him, boom, done, converted.
But fourth and
What was it, 4th and 8?
4th and 8. So from the 8-yard line, LaFleur kicks the field goal. My whole thing, you're just going to have to get comfortable here and listen to me rabble on here. And I messaged Pepsi. Pepsi and I are having a very long exchange over text here. Say you go for it. It's 8 yards. It's Aaron. For one, you've got the MVP. You've got a bloke who scored 18 touchdowns on the outside. Aaron Jones, who scored 30 touchdowns in the last 2 years. He's in the backfield.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, worst case scenario, incomplete pass, you don't get it. They're at the 8 line.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you have to make a stop. By kicking the field goal, they get the ball and you still have to make a stop.
Yeah.
And you've got to do it.
And then get the ball and go
17 yards in front of where you would have given it to them.
Now, it turned out it actually was only about a 9 yard differential because Mickens, the returner, sits down with 2 minutes. Get to the 2 minute warning, man. He actually gave Green Bay another timeout.
Yes.
But the decision, you have to go for it there.
Have some balls there.
You have to just pull the trigger. And I get you've got 30 seconds to make the call. Take a timeout. They had a timeout up their sleeves. You're not going to need it in the next 2 minutes.
Nope.
Make that decision. You have to go for it.
Yeah.
You just
Season on the line.
Yeah, you were there last year. You were at the NFC Championship last year. You got blown out. Go for it now. We already know how volatile Aaron Rodgers is. What's he going to do all off season? Go, oh well, you trusted this defense that's just been. You got Kevin King. You trust Kevin King over the MVP from 8 yards, from 8 yards out. That's you just got to go shotgun, go Adams not there. Check down. You've got to play. You've got to play in there. You just got to go for it.
Especially looking at the Bucs secondary at this point, losing Whitehead in the second half. So
he's
they're
He was delivering some shots as well.
Down their 2 starting safeties. The corners aren't well known as top guys. You've got options. You've got your 3 receivers there. You're hey, MVS is having a great game. You've got Adams, Lazard's. He's dropped a few balls throughout this game.
St. Brown dropped one, but you just go. You just do it. You just
season on the line
because it just doesn't make sense because
this isn't week 4.
But it doesn't make sense even if it is week 4. You gave them the ball back. You went from an 8-point game to a 5-point game. So you've still got to go and drive down if you make the stop, or you just you had to stop them either way.
Yeah.
Or you get it and okay, we stopped them once and it's overtime and now we can play a game. It just made no sense to me.
It's stuck.
Yeah. It made no and he's obviously copying it. I wrote the only bigger loser than Matt LaFleur was Kevin King because Mr. King had one more role to play in this game. You thought he was done.
So I think so my final point, I think.
What was that? Did he blow the?
He was that interference call. He grabbed the jersey, it was on Scott because it nearly actually worked out for LaFleur. They had him through at 3rd and 4. Clock stopped. That throw, and then it's pass interference, kneel down, game over. And there was some call you can't call that and not other things. That's defensive pass interference. If that's not that's
all day.
He's pulled the jersey about 2 feet.
He's gone from a large to an extra large just with one tug.
Yeah, it was
if that's not called, we've got Green Bay, New Orleans, LA all over again. That's and but they didn't call that earlier in the game. It doesn't matter. That was defensive pass interference. That's the game over. That's it. Kevin King, that's what he cost the first touchdown.
Second touch.
Scotty Miller got done.
That was the 3rd touchdown.
That was and what was his other one?
So he gave up 2 touchdowns in the pass interference.
He did have a 4th one. What did I have here?
He had a bad game.
He had a bad game.
And the worst part is he's a free agent. Not too many phone calls for Mr. King this summer. I wouldn't.
He got picked
possibly
on.
Not.
I think that
might be cool.
But that's the beauty of Tom Brady. It's a matchup game. He's
thrown 2 picks to Alexander. He's gone. I'm going to go over here.
I'm going to go to this guy who's Scotty Miller left for dirt.
Yeah. So some key stats. Shaq Barrett got 3 sacks. JPP got 2 sacks. And as we alluded to before, White got 15 tackles and 1 forced fumble. I think
fumble recovery.
Fumble recovery. Sorry. I think kind of my key notes in this. The Pack looked good in this. They actually played a really good game. They did
offensively.
When we get to the Bills game as a comparison,
actually even defensively, 3 picks.
Yeah, they got turnovers.
Absolutely. They forced field goals in the second half.
Yeah.
I think this is 100% on the floor. This game, not just that decision. Pettin again, the defensive coordinator, cost them in the second half. I think this is more on the floor than
anyone.
Yeah. He's lost
wearing a jersey.
8 games as a head coach, and 2 of them are championship games.
I think the biggest
13-3 twice. Yeah.
I think the biggest concern out of this one, probably that what let them down the most for the pack, which gave Brady enough time to make a lot of these deep shots, was the pass rush. It's non-existent. The Smiths just couldn't get going.
Yeah. Gary, he's
big props to the pack, not pack, the Bucks line in this. They've drafted really well in that space recently, and they looked really, really good.
Tightened up, Wirfs.
That's good Wirfs, Jensen, Marpet, even Donovan Smith. I mean, he's much maligned, but he stepped up big time last week
when they needed to,
and this week was huge.
Yeah. And on the other side of the offensive lines, missing Bakhtiari was
having Billy Turner play left tackle, not a great option, and they just feasted on him.
Billy Turner started off as a right guard, I think, and was a mediocre right guard, and then moving him to protect the MVP.
Yeah,
he played pretty
Shaq Barrett for 40 minutes. Yeah.
He was serviceable at right tackle. He's not a left guard, and they went after him. And Rogers was running all day. You could see the
Have you seen Billy Turner? He loves to wear the peace and love and shit on these jackets and that. He's real hippie and he blocks like it too.
You got JPP. Yeah, I mean, there's 5 sacks right there, and they were alternate. It was just. I didn't get Bakhtiari. He's an all-pro like that.
Yeah, he's top 2.
He's your anchor.
Top
he's
2
your
left tackles in the game.
Absolutely. Behind Ronnie Stanley, of course.
Hey, Mr. Dyslexia.
We'll go all day.
So to finish up on some Rodgers news, so one quick stat out of this, Rodgers is the only QB with 3 playoff losses, having thrown 3+ touchdowns.
His stat line was gorgeous, by the way. He was definitely the best quarterback playing.
Yeah. What do you have, 300? You give us the stats there, Monks.
Yeah, so it was 33 off 48, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Brady
could have added 3 or 4 rush yards to
that. Maybe. Yeah, Brady was only 20 of 36, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
That's quite
game manager.
Off though, because his first half he was lights out, and we were talking about the long third downs. Second half, something about the old man. He was getting tired. I think he had to go to bed. He had some NyQuil at halftime. He was stinky. Like Alexander, he was lobbing them up, and not reading the safety comment. Like it was awful. But again, he's Tom Brady, so he's going to get you to the end. That's why you go for it on 4th and 8. Like that's why you just have to go for it. Because that's your option is giving it to the bloke who's about to go to his 10th Super Bowl. Like that's what
he's
you've
been
done.
here and done it.
Like that's what you've done. You've
he's
said,
been in the situation.
I'm going to beat this guy who's beaten everyone. It's just. I've got a sneaky conspiracy theory here. I think the Green Bay Packers hate Aaron Rodgers. I actually think they hate him. How many? Can you name all the wide receivers the Packers have drafted in the first round since Rodgers was drafted?
Well, not Devontae Adams.
The last one I know was Javon Walker, I believe, was the last.
Oh, that's in like the 90s.
Yes, he's the first round pick. Well, they spent on a wide receiver.
Yeah, you've done it because they haven't. They literally have not drafted a wide receiver in the first round since Rodgers was drafted.
And we have had this chat before.
But Jordan Love's the future.
Before on the Esky, Jordan Love gets taken. A lot of the quality wide receivers from this draft had gone.
Trevson was just beforehand, and I actually went through and looked. Chase Claypool scored 11 touchdowns this year.
Yep.
Could have had him.
Could have had him. Mm-hmm. They then drafted AJ Dillon, who, he had a couple of good games. He's their 3rd best running back. Yeah. Like, give the man a second tight end or something. Like, they're
very lucky that Tonya had a big year as well.
From where? Like, Aaron Rodgers made if Robert Tonyan moves and goes to any other team, he's just like this handy, weird guy. Yeah. Rodgers gives him, was it 11 or 12 touchdowns?
11. Us Pro Bowl selection.
I don't they hate this man. They just that is ridiculous. How long has he been the quarterback? 15 years. They haven't drafted a wide receiver.
They
were lucky to get Adams. Yeah. Who again I think Rodgers boosts a little bit because. Yeah. But
Adams was the third rounder, I think. Yeah.
Well, Aaron Jones, to go back to that, he's off contract, so I don't think he's going to be back next year. They'll probably go with AJ Dillon and Williams as their core one.
But I mean, like
Jamal Williams is underrated. I will say that. Yeah.
But you lose. So last year they lose the NFC Championship game.
And what do they?
You think
what do
you're
they do
close.
to
You
add
think
to
you're
that team?
close. Yeah. Let's draft a solid backup quarterback
Who then isn't? Who isn't
then
the backup?
our third string. Just
Well, this kind of leads into the next point. Rogers did the media rounds, of course, was on the McAfee show, and very much said, there's no absolutes, there's no guarantees that we'll be back. I'll be back at the pack. I think the pack, the CEO has come out and said, hey, he's going to be back. Like we're not going to let him go. I think, but there's all that chat about what's been happening, etc.
Well, Schefter was reporting that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the press conference was. And I think Rogers is pretty good at playing a bit of the media game. He actually said, when it came to that fourth down decision, he said, well, wasn't my call. I didn't make that decision. So completely there's LaFleur under the bus. And then the future question came up and he said, well, we don't know. I think he's since come out and said, oh, no, I was talking about other free agents. Like, I'm going to be back here. Yeah. They have a 30 million dead cap hit on him. So
he's not going to.
You keep the MVP.
Yeah. And they were saying if he does, say he does go, it's not John Love, it's the other backup. Yeah. And there'll be competition between them, but their favourite is the backup. I can't remember his name, not Love. So it was just like, it seems like a waste of a first round at this point.
I understand the whole thing of getting a quarterback in the first round because you get the 5th-year option. So Love's still got 4 years. So you think Rodgers next year, the decision comes next year because
but if he plays like Brady, he'd still see out that 5 years and still be there.
That's exactly right. Give me Chase Claypool, give me 11 touchdowns from the other side, and then I'll give you he would deliver a Super Bowl. Yeah, look at those stats. Yeah. He's lost 3 games, throwing 3 touchdowns. That's just numbers on a board, but that's we look at the weekend.
He needs more help. It's crying.
100%. He loses his left tackle. You got the 2-point conversion dropped.
Yep.
Your coach makes a dickhead decision. They're still in a spot to win. This man is the MVP. He is making throws that you could not imagine.
He's winning at games with
build it around him.
Of a team.
build it around him.
Yeah.
God.
So there's one point I wanted to make in this, and was actually the first field goal they kicked. Because that drive, I think they ran for between 40 and 50 yards. They got within the 10 and then had 3 pass plays and got nowhere.
Yeah, all to Adams, I believe.
He dropped a tutty, I think. I think he dropped a tutty and then 2 incompletions. Yeah.
But, I think that there was actually the starting point for where they went away from the run. They probably should have pounded the rock a little bit there because they were getting about 5 yards of carry in that drive. You could run on the Bucks D. Hey, you let the two fast guys go around the outside and then go.
Yeah, they're going to pin their ears back and try and get
they're going after Rodgers.
So a little handoff inside,
and only ended up with 76 rushing yards.
But like you said, that second half,
40 comes out.
But you know what else?
Drive.
They're down at the half an extra 7 points because they don't go prevent defense.
Yes.
You can then run a bit more, but we're down an extra touchdown. So, I mean, it all, again, I just think LaFleur had an absolute stinker. He was out-coached, and I don't think Bruce Arians is Bill Belichick either. He's a bit of a maverick in his ways. Again,
they were Tom's probably running the show.
Once it's offset side of the ball, Bruce Arians goes and takes a shit or something. I am not needed.
But that'll be an interesting key in the Super Bowl game, whether the Chiefs tack the Bucks to slow down that pass rush, because they've got the same problem with the tackles being out.
Yeah, Fisher and Schwartz.
So they're going to struggle on the tackle side. But
who's the Canadian fella, Laurent? He's like a double barrel surname, French Canadian fella, pretty good.
Late pick.
No, it's like Devent something or other. Yeah. He sat out the year. He was looking quite good last year. So they are decimated on the offensive line.
So they definitely will miss. Well, that could be a risk for them. So
Duvernay
Tardif. If they've got
Duvernay Tardif,
if the pass rush is coming, it wouldn't surprise me if they try to pound the rock a bit more than people are expecting.
Yeah.
Got to slow it down. So that's probably a great segue into this Bills-Chiefs game.
Yes.
So as a comparison, overall, I thought this was probably Josh Allen's worst game in a couple of months. The first half, he threw everything high and overthrew it.
Long. Yeah.
I think he may have been nervous.
Well, it was...
Well, you'd have to be.
I mean, when you think of Josh Allen of the last 2 years and Josh Allen this year, everyone talks about the improvement and how well he was playing. It just felt, and again, purple glasses on. Even the Ravens game, he didn't play well. The bad game was coming. I was expecting like a dumb pick the whole playoffs. He didn't end up throwing a bad one, like, straight at it, like a Jameis Winston type thing. The bad game was coming, which is the guy's played 40 games as quarterback. It just felt like it was coming, and was he really ready for it? We can debate that. Their whole offense was built around long balls. If he's letting the long ball,
no run game at all.
Well, they abandoned it all playoffs. They went, this is how we're going to get ahead. He had 88 yards, I think it was. He led the team, and I reckon 50 of them were on broken plays, and all the wide receivers and quarterbacks were in the end zone. So there's a free time.
Chris Jones was all over him, he was dominant through the middle. So
really good.
He's very good.
Yeah.
He is a beast.
But yes, Josh Allen, we had that skid in the middle of the year where they lost 3 games in a row, and kind of felt like maybe they lost their way a little bit in this, and maybe a bit of nervous, maybe he wasn't ready for it. Chiefs, of course, were excellent, and the pressure from Chris Jones probably doesn't help.
I think they were 11-1 going into this game, and the one was the Hail Murray,
that's right.
hop catch in the corner. That's their one loss. So
they were rolling.
They're rolling, but with a team like a new volatile team, you still think it's coming. The bad performance is coming. The stinky one. The Ravens game, they played like shit. 7 of their points came from Lamar. Fucking told that.
I think they also covered Diggs really well on this. So take away his security blanket, which made it very difficult for him. He just didn't have that outlet where he could just target Diggs, and then Brown really didn't get open, and Beasley got, I think,
he's
the most.
Up. He was so injured.
Well, I think he's been playing with a broken leg. So crazy. So we'll run through a couple of plays. So it starts off, Hardman muffs the punt to start with, which ends up being within their own red zone, close to the goal line.
3 yards out.
Knox scores a touchdown straight away. They do miss the extra point. They follow that up by kicking a field goal to take a 9-0 lead. Hardman then kind of makes amends. He scores the first touchdown. So great to see from the Chiefs, hey, you made a mistake. Doesn't matter. We'll go straight back to you.
Do you reckon that was Andy Reid, confidence kind of thing? Hey, come on,
you make that. Did you? Because did you see him go to the sideline and throw the towel over his head? He literally, he was scared, and he had Kelsey under his arm, and he sat down and grabbed this blanket and just threw it over his head, and he was fully covered in it. And there was an NFL films thing, they were wired up, and Mahomes, just goes up to him and says, "You've got yours," and Kelsey was really over the top with him. And just before that touchdown, they gave the reverse run to him, and he I think he went 50 odd yards up the sideline.
I think it's been more than that. That was a big
and that was. I think you're exactly right there, Peps. I think they've gone. This guy's just as important as anyone, because they can cover 2 players. If Hardman's going, it's no slather for Mahomes.
Freakish speed.
So Reed's gone straight, and it was very quick turnaround. Reed's gone straight back to him. You get involved, feel good.
Confidence. Let's get him back on board. Smart.
So Darren Williams then follows it up to take the lead for the Chiefs at 14-9. Then they have, is it CEH?
Yeah, Clyde Edwards.
Clyde Edwards, Eler.
Yeah. So EEH scores a 1-yard touchdown following a catch. There was a big drive. Kelsey actually had an unreal game in this. He was so good.
He is the best tight end in the NFL by a country mile.
And all-time conversation here. His numbers actually stack up.
He'll finish with better numbers than Tony Gonzalez did.
The way he's going.
And you've got an alien throwing it to you, so you're pretty. He just starts running, recognizes where all the defenders are, stops running, and then it makes we sit here and go, put someone on him. They're in zone defense, so he knows there's going to be no one there. I'm going to stand there. He's going to throw me the ball.
And then his yak
it looks so easy. Yeah, exactly. He's athletic enough to make a play. I think he ended up with 13 catches, and he was less than 10 yards a catch, but he would have had 10 first downs in that. He's just a security blanket for Mahomes, who doesn't need one.
Well, he's attacking the linebackers, of course, for the Bills are very different. Edwards is a big guy.
Huge. I don't think he's fast enough to go with him.
They're not real fast guys. And their strength is probably more their secondary with
Trey White.
White and Norman. Josh Norman over there. So,
He actually had a nice year, Norman. He was much maligned going over, but he wasn't too bad on the...
Not quite Carolina Panthers, Norman.
No, but he was getting a lot more action because Trey White's on one side. You're going to throw it to him. Let's target him. But he made some plays down the stretch.
He did.
So field goal follows it up. They go 21-12 into the half. Then they switch.
Sorry. Before that, they kicked the field goal. Sean McDermott went all Matt LaFleur on us. It was 21-9. I think they were inside the 10 or the 5. So you're down 12. You're down 2 scores. I'm going to kick a field goal to go down 2 scores. Like you're still 2 away. I didn't mind.
I think did they get the ball after halftime?
No, so the Chiefs were getting it back.
So that doesn't make sense to me. Because if you got the ball back, then you could get the ball back, score, and then maybe tie it up.
But so I didn't hate this one because if you don't get that, you go into the half and go, we're down 21-9. Patrick Mahomes is about to score again. But because like you may as well be down 12 if you're going to be down 9. That's because the kicking of field goals is just bizarre. Like because they actually hold KC to a field goal at the start of the third quarter. So if you do score that touchdown, it goes 21-16, 24-16. Now it's an 8-point game. You're 1 score away. You are 1 score away.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to beat them with field goals, and that was the big thing coming out. You're not going to beat the Chiefs with field goals. You're going to have to score. You're not going to stop them from scoring.
You don't win games you can win games late with field goals, but you're not going to outscore teams in the playoffs by kicking field goals.
As the Kansas City Chiefs,
Exactly.
with Andy Reid, like you're not going to win you're not going to win 21-24 against the Chiefs. Like you just and watch the Super Bowl with that score. But like, I just found that nearly as bizarre. I could understand going into the half because then they were fucked. If it was 21-9 at the half, Chiefs with the ball, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But make it a 1 score game. Give you like Josh Allen's having a stinker. You're down there. Like this is the whole thing. He was runner-up in the MVP? Have they announced?
Well,
they haven't announced it yet. I reckon
He
he'll be.
will be 3rd, I think, after Mahomes.
Well,
I think he'd be offensive player of the year if it's not Henry.
Yeah, they'll give him something. So like you're there. The guy that's got you there has got you down to the goal line. Put it in. Put it in. Don't go, if you miss it. Say, Josh, roll out. Hit the guy. If you're not, run over him and score the touchdown. Like, let's go with what got us here. And I just don't understand now we're going to be conservative. Let's put points on the board rather than because they had it. They stopped them for a field goal. So literally, they could have marched down and evened it up, and then hang on.
Different.
Now we have the momentum. Now we're going with it. Like McDermott's a gun coach. I think outside of Stefanski, he should be coach of the year. Don't tighten up now. Don't go defensive now. Like let's roll with Allen. Kind our quarterback for the next 10 years. Let's roll with him.
And they did move between the 20s really well.
Yeah, exactly. You got down there.
Like when they got down there, they just kind of seemed to squish it together, and they kind of seemed to fade and couldn't do what they wanted. Anyway, to run through, finish off. So they trade a bunch of field goals. So 24-12, 24-15. Then there's a huge catch and run by Tyreek, which leads to an underarm throw. Shovel pass underarm throw kind of to Kelsey coming back through the offensive line.
Cheating.
Yeah, cheating. Makes it 31-15.
I was saying to you boys before the show, the thing that separates the Chiefs from everyone else, and you just did allude to it with the Bills struggling to finish in the red zone. The Chiefs in the red zone.
So dominant the red zone, yeah.
Those motions they put in, and that's what I mean. Like Kelsey sneaks behind the center and gets the shovel pass, and then it's just.
I'm pretty sure Tyreek's in motion early on.
Comes behind.
So you think that maybe they're
he comes
going
in a
like
running back. I think
they're going like the touch pass to Tyreek across. Let's cover that, and then he turns around and goes and sits it like a running back, and like it's just so much to consider.
Yeah, the scariest thing they do is they'll do a play like that. So that's on the coach's radar for the next week, and then they'll do something so similar, but then make the subtlest change and throw in the shovel pass. So you're prepped for Tyreek running at the back, but it's coming like, how do you stop this? We were talking about Eric Bieniemy earlier. Like he must just go in of a Monday morning and go, right, this is fun. This is so much fun.
I think he'd be enjoying his job at the moment.
Definitely
with the weapons.
And he did get a bunch of head coach interviews out of it as well. But I think everyone's now filled their spots, so he did miss out. But I think he was Deshaun Watson's favourite. They didn't even look at him. So again, he was pissed off by that.
His consolation is I get Patrick Mahomes for as long as I want. Because Reed's not going anywhere. So
So. The Bills then have a long drive, but it ends in a pick. Kelsey then scores another touchdown to make it 38-15. Bills answer that through McKenzie's, and the 2-point conversion gets picked, so it's 38-21. Bills do recover the onside. They actually try two onsides this. They get one and the other one fails. They actually, the one they got back, it hops up really high. Chiefs guy gets it and they clean his legs out, and then smashes him and it pops out and they pick it up. First onside recovery in the postseason since 2015.
Yeah.
So,
but again, they're kicking You kick the field goal to then go do the onside kick.
Yes.
Like if you're going from the onside kick, go like it was just baffling to me. It just felt
Considering
at this
the
stage of the
percentages
game. At this stage of the game, they've got a 3% chance to win.
Yeah.
You
This
know
is
you're going for
when you
onside
gotta
kick.
throw the
You actually got an onside kick.
Yeah.
So imagine if you had
Score.
7 extra points on the board.
The first one in 6 years in the postseason.
So
This one is the one that really had me scratching my head. That I can, before the half, I can sort of understand.
yeah, but you are all desperate here. You just need to throw it. What's the
It's
difference?
desperation.
We lose by.
You got to beat the Chiefs. Like you got to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think now I'm saying it out loud, mate. I actually really hate that one before the half. I really just put it in.
Yeah.
Put it in. Put it in.
Yeah.
Like
Don't die trying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what she said. So
Don't die trying, or the other one?
yeah, both. Both together. Like it's hilarious. So, back to my points before that, Alan kind of played the first half pretty terrible, overthrew everything. He did settle, and I thought he played way better in the fourth.
He played a better second half than Tom Brady played.
Yes, they did move the ball a lot better, but again, too little, too late by
for
then.
the Chiefs as well. Then
exactly.
they're giving up the underneath throws.
Yeah. So, do the Chiefs look unbeatable? And it probably goes into we'll do a little bit of preview because there's one thing I want to cover, that whole Devin White Kelsey matchup. I think that's going to be really impressive. But my only, thinking about that though, if that works, or if you're doubling Kelsey, then you've got Hill, Hardman, Pringles, etc. Now they're 1-on-1 with guys. Bucks secondary, of course, a little bit banged up. Be very interesting to see how that goes because I still think the Chiefs win this.
Yeah,
sorry, Mums.
Can the Chiefs secondary stay with the Buccaneers receiving core?
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what AB's status is. That
Evans,
spreads it
Godwin,
open.
Scotty Miller obviously shows he's all
There's
right.
Gronk,
Cameron Braid.
Yeah, so
They've got weapons, but
Lenny Fournette's running the ball.
Playoff Lenny.
So I think, like you said, it's probably not the time to do it now because you'll sweat over. We don't know who's available, who's playing. I think when I think of like the Chiefs defense, I think Frank Clark, I think Chris Jones, and I think Honey Badger.
Yep.
Then it's a bit of a like they're pretty good at they're in 3 very important positions, so they're pretty good at making their playmakers play.
Yeah.
You've got Tom Brady there. We talk about matchups. Tom Brady stands there under the center and goes, "There's those 3 blokes."
I'm going elsewhere.
I can find. And we talked about the Bucks. O-line's been holding up.
Yeah.
Chiefs. Like I want a good game. I really want a good game.
Yeah. And it might be the case like Mike Evans gets taken out of this game, but then you've got Chris Godwin
Who's had a little bit of
Or
drops
Antonio
lately.
Brown.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Jimmy? What are your initial? You've got a long time to sweat it out. What's the thoughts?
My heart says Bucks, obviously.
I would hope so.
that offense of the Chiefs, though,
it's cheating.
It's
like we said, it is cheating.
They may need to score 40 points in this to win. As an example.
Yeah.
Brady's done it.
I mean,
he scored against the Eagles.
One benefit, of course, it's at home for them. The first ever home game Super Bowl. So
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think. And they've got 20-odd thousand in there.
Yeah.
7,000.
There's been other ones where it's been in the same city, but not at their home ground. So there was ones, I think, where the Rams were in, but they played it at the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
Right. Fit more.
Yeah, well, the Raiders were in and they played it at Stanford.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
But the first time that it's actually at a home stadium.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But then I was on Twitter and just looking into some stuff before. Like usually Super Bowl week is players need to get their media day. With COVID, I think the Chiefs are getting in on the Saturday or the Friday.
Yeah.
So
it's like 2 days before.
It's a normal week. So that sort of, I don't know who it favors. It's just I'm just throwing it out there. Like, there's no media commitments. You can log on Zoom nude if you want and do that. But so it's going to be as normal as possible. And Tampa can be in their own beds.
Yeah.
Chiefs don't have to leave until the day before. So I think we're going to get as even a they actually on paper they match up pretty well. Yeah, I think we undersell the Chiefs because they're fucked. They're fucked because we can't talk about how good they are because you can't. They're just so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see the Bucks win. It's a good story. I've gone full 180 on Tom Brady. He broke my heart so many times.
I think he's broke everyone's hearts plenty of times.
And then he turns 40, and you're like, you're the best player to ever play this game. So,
well, there's a stat he's had since he's turned 37. He's been to more Super Bowls than a bunch of other guys did in their careers. He's been to more Super Bowls since he turned 37 than Elway went to. Rodgers,
Hall of Fame people,
like Favre,
Peyton,
he's been in his very late in his career.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I saw one where they split his career into 3 categories, and they're like, Tom Brady's had 3 Hall of Fame,
3 dynasties. Yeah.
Because the first one's like 180 touchdowns, 3 Super Bowl wins, and then the second one's like
Another
170, and then the third.
Oh man, it's cool. Like it's. I don't know. Again, I hated this bloke for so long, but now you're just like, you are the best person to do this. Like, I just
by far,
people can't hate. It's undisputed. It's the hardest job in the world. Yeah, whatever. But he's the quarterback.
It is the hardest sporting job in the world.
Exactly right. Sure, you talk about him being a coach on the field. Like he's literally.
There's nothing.
He changed that whole team, from where they were last year with 30 man to where they are now. It's complete.
Shout out to Caitlin, my misso. Actually, she said, "Aren't the Buccaneers really bad?" Like I actually was walking the dog, and I had to turn to her. I went, "Can you? Are you having a stroke or something?" Like, what did you say? She said, "Like Tom Brady's made the Buccaneers really good," and I just gave her a big hug in the middle of the street. I went, "I can't believe you're listening to what I care about." So shout out Caitlin if you've lasted this long. This long, and there's probably something wrong with you, but love you.
Last couple of seasons, I don't necessarily think the Bucks have been bad.
I think that's overrated as well.
It's just they've been missing that one.
They've been mediocre.
Don't throw 30 interceptions.
They've had the receiving core. They've had that stingy front seven.
Yeah, exactly right. You
look at the conference that they're in, a division that they're in as well.
It's stacked.
It's hard.
I think it's
hard to compete. So
very overrated. But you put the GOAT in there, and it's you go to the Super Bowl. He's got as many NFC championships as Aaron Rodgers. And he's been to 1. So there you go.
And he's also got more than the Dallas Cowboys in the last 20-something years.
Yeah, well, we've got some Cowboys bashing in here. It's always good fun.
The final point in that is the Bucks are actually the first wildcard team to make the Super Bowl since 2012, and the Ravens. Who won that?
Who won that Super Bowl against the 49ers? 34-31.
Ray Lewis and Ed Red.
It was. There you go. Pepsi. Ray Lewis's last game.
I feel at the same time.
Yeah. Who turned the power off at halftime?
Yeah, that was the New Orleans.
I remember that.
That was a great game. Ravens shot out. Jacoby Jones
Colin
kick
Kaepernick.
off.
Yeah.
There you go. No politics.
No politics. Politics there are none.
That's a great game. Yeah. Well said though, Sean. I'm glad we got more Ravens involved in this.
So, we've got some more Ravens news to come up as well, sort of. Let's run through some head coaching moves. So Matt Patricia is back with the Pats, and I think he's got assistant head coach as his title. So of course going back to the dark side, back to the leader of the Sith.
Smart move. McDaniels did the same thing when he had a crack with the Broncos, went straight back. I think smart move.
Yeah, smart move. Rebuild your career in person.
I think when you leave Detroit, it's normally pretty good.
So Texans had a bit of an interesting look for a head coach, probably the least wanted job out of the lot. They interviewed Josh McCown, who only just retired, for a head coach, which is so cool. Which is mad. The Texans, of course, got flamed all over the internet for doing so. But instead, they've ended up signing David Culley. Yeah. They say that as their next head coach, who was the passing coordinator of the Ravens.
The 31st ranked passing attack.
Yes.
Who was 32?
Jimmy is all over that, I reckon. 32, we can work that out. Maybe the Jets is an easy guess.
Jags
is an easy guess.
Jags would be an easy guess.
Either of those.
I'm pretty sure Ravens were 31. They might have even snuck up to 30.
But they run the ball, so there's a difference.
They were number 1 running the ball.
I think they were like the number 9 offense. With the 30, it's it's obviously going to be skewed. This was my whole thing with.
You can imagine his job though. He walks in in Monday in the morning and goes, "What am I going to do today?" And he's like, "Nothing." Yeah. He's just like, "I'll write it up. Okay, I've got 2 pass plays. Throw it to Mark Andrews. Done.
Yeah,
I'm going home. See you, boys.
Hollywood, run straight. He's covered. Throw it to Andrews. Nothing. Run it away.
Yeah, exactly.
He's copped a lot of heat from Ravens Twitter. It's always a good time when your team gets bounced to the playoffs, and then it's all right. Who can we scapegoat here? Him and Roman, the OC, have copped a bit of it I am shocked with this hire. Harbaugh loves him. Like, he was actually assistant head coach as well. Apparently he's very good with players and actually developing relationships. But
which is probably what he needs to do. So he needs some probably strong coordinators to help him out.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing about a head coach. Your X's and O's doesn't matter. If you can, I think Urban Meyer's a great head coach if he can bring in good coordinators, because you are a manager. You need to be good at making decisions. You need to go for it on 4th and 8 and not kick the fucking field goal.
Timeouts and field goals. That's all you got to worry about.
I actually think that's the main role for the head coach. Be good at time management and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. They look in shambles.
Well, they'll go back to Josh McCown. He looks like he may get a quarterback job or like a quarterback coach or the passing coordinator job for the Texans. So they are going to bring him into the staff.
Yeah.
Not sure they've talked much about coordinators for this team. If I'm Deshaun Watson, if I don't like this hire, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about Bieniemy. I think he was really big on Bieniemy. I mean, there's something with the ownership with the Texans. It's like a group of people. There's not like a Jerry Jones. There's not a...
They've got to have... I know by rule they've got to have one
head figure.
Major owner of the team has to own 51%, but they also may not be involved very much too. So
there's something about... So that's where like the dysfunction comes from. They were a pretty good football team for the last 5 years. Oh, yeah. Like
Bill O'Brien ran him into the ground. Speaking of which, who's gone to join
Lovely
Alabama.
segue.
What's he going to be doing there?
Offensive line, I think I saw.
Offensive line, or he's in the offensive line. He might even be coordinator for them. But I think the idea is, again, for Bama, they want to bring more of the pro-style game into the college for them, because, it helps them. It's like, hey, come play for Bama.
Yeah,
we'll have an awesome squad. We'll get you pro-ready, and you'll be a first-round draft pick.
They've hired, there was someone, I don't think he is coordinator, because they brought in another NFL guy. Because, exactly right, you go in the living room and say, there's that cool stat, Nick Saban, every single one of his recruiting classes has won a national championship. So he can literally sit in a living room and say, I will get you a national championship. I've got 3 NFL head coaches. They're going to tell you how to get ready for the NFL, which is what it is. It's pipeline for the NFL.
Exactly. And, we averaged, 10 first-round picks guys going. So you're going to get paid.
Because that's exactly what it is. Because kids are now, and there's a big thing about, NCAA and everything about college. And the NBA is where it is now. Kids go to college for a year and they want out. They want to make money. I can see the tens of millions of dollars, 100%. Like LaMelo Ball, he didn't go to college. He came to Australia because I can get paid, and it's a pathway.
Play a pro game as well. Like
100%.
Train every week. Like it's not
get that experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, get paid for it, and then look. Now I can bypass college. So the more that happens,
and buy the Illawarra Hawks.
Shout out LaMelo. I know you're listening.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of college basketball teams that could beat out the Illawarra Hawks, though.
We're not debating that.
We're not going to. I thought we banned NBL from this. That one's on me.
There is, there's the whole concept of the pro body. Like when you come out.
Iron sharpens iron, or whatever. You got to build your body to become a pro the day in day out grind. Like it's so different. So it does take a couple of years. That's why usually, especially defensive linemen, it's their second or third year. That's what you wait for. Yeah. That's when they pop big. Yep. It's because they've come out of college. They're now building an NFL body. Need to have some good off seasons, maybe some sauce, depending. Allegedly.
Barbecue you're talking about?
Yes. But
barbecue chicken.
Yes,
love barbecue sauce.
But it's all part of that program. And if you get a whole year of that at Alabama, or you get 3 or 4 years doing that,
exactly right.
you take that every time.
Yeah. And exposure. Plus
what is the number one message? Fuck the books off.
Exactly.
Guys with the university degrees here are all sitting around drinking beer, talking about sports.
Yeah, exactly. Damn.
So other head coach news: the Eagles hire Nick Sirianni. Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, the Italiano.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know where he's come from?
Is he Colts? I think he's come from the Colts, and
Sirianni.
He might be their passing coordinator.
There's something. I think there is a relationship with Frank Reich at the Colts, who obviously came from the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl. So
yes, from the
young 39.
Yeah, from the Andy Reid tree.
Andy Reid, which is now 90% of the NFL. Like that, it's crazy.
Well, you can see with all the coaching hires, everyone's gone, hey, I need my Sean McVay. I need to go away,
exactly.
Get someone super young, up and comer. Let's get them instead of retreads like Marvin Lewis. I think he interviewed for a bunch of jobs, but
Beautiful Marvin.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, he's good. He's good for mediocre. He'll get you the playoffs occasionally, but he's not taking a Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
But they want that, we've got a year, we've got 2 years, bang for buck. Let's get a guy in, see if he can do something. If he doesn't, we'll get him out. It's a quick, get another guy in.
Well, it's a quick turnaround. Like, I mean, someone like Matt Patricia, who's, I mean, he's had a stinky record, but he's out. I mean, Zach Taylor's at Bengals now. We're talking about Marvin Lewis. I mean, you have to produce now because you've got Joe Burrow 4 more years on his rookie contract. Like that's what it is
Cash.
now.
Yeah.
If you're in the position to get a new quarterback, you're probably better off getting a good new head coach. Trevor Lawrence, Urban Meyer type situation. Jets, I'd imagine Justin Fields.
You'd think so.
I mean, shipped on, or build around. It's all about capitalizing on the cap.
Yeah.
If you're not paying your quarterback,
that 5th year, like that's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you've looked what the Chiefs have done. Mahomes is such an outlier though. Like he'll make anyone good type thing. But you need to, like the Rams have done with Goff. They've kind of handicapped themselves now on the offensive side.
Like you look at that team that went to the Super Bowl. Next, he gets paid after that year, and they've kind of we can't keep Stanford around, so he's gone off. So we can't keep that awesome eye line together.
Which he needs because he's a fucking statue.
Yeah, and then we talked about last week that McVay's not real happy with Goff at the moment. So they're going to have an open competition with Warford. I think it is their backup. So
Stinky.
It's interesting.
Eagles would be in a fairly similar situation.
They are sticky.
Well, I think there's a stat: the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks by cap number of those, and it includes Rodgers. I think all of them are in flux for quarterback position, so they don't know where they'll be. Because there's a lot. Well, it looks like it's going to be unreal quarterback movement. That probably leads into the Matt Stafford. Stafford. I keep saying Matt Stafford.
Stanford is university.
Yes, I do know, and I always fuck that up. Stafford being available for trade, so I think they've mutually agreed to say, hey. We're not going to go forward with this relationship. A line's probably going to go young. Pick a guy early.
It sounds like he's not too upset about that, and they love him in Detroit. It's one of those. It's one of those. We're happy to see you go and succeed. I'd love to.
Where do you reckon he ends up?
He's got the question.
There's Niners, Jets,
Colts.
Colts is a very interesting spot. Colts roster is good.
I like that.
They could flick into the Texans, unfortunately, if they want to. If Deshaun wants to moves on.
Bears, if they want to go in division.
Bears.
I can see him in a Bears uniform.
I don't mind that.
And
interesting,
And of course, Denver was in that conversation too.
Denver's an interesting one. Their roster is stacked. Drew Lock.
Very young.
See, Drew Lock is one. He's a second-round pick, so they don't have the luxury of another couple of years. Yeah, they need to decide pretty quickly whether
2 more years with him.
Yep.
Yes, but definitely.
Yeah,
so
it's good. I think, you could probably say 2/3 of the league aren't set at quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah.
And considering at the start of the year, we discussed it, very much that, we look set. There's so many young quarterbacks come out.
Yeah.
The position, all the old guys kind of are locked down in their positions. 16 games later, it was like, well, that's a very different situation.
Throw the catamaran. Well, who have we got? We got Lawrence coming out, Fields, Mac Jones. What's the kid from BYU?
So there's
Zach Wilson
and Trey Lawrence and Frank Tusker.
Trey Lance. That's
the Florida kid.
Trask.
I think he's got one. Is he coming out?
I think he's coming out, but he's probably
I don't know about pro style.
Late second round. But they're the top 5 guys.
6. But again, if you think, I'll sneak him in at the end of the first round because I want 5 years with him. Exactly. So there's 6 good young quarterbacks coming through. Yeah. It's cool. It's cool when there's. It's good when you have a quarterback and there's all this going on.
And it's really interesting, like the last 3 years, there's been at least 4 or 5 guys come out that have been good.
Yeah.
Compared to the last 10 years where it was like 1 or 2 guys would come out.
Let them develop. Yeah. Well, exactly. You look at the Cardinals, they draft Rosen with the 10th pick, I think it was, and a year later they draft Murray with the first pick.
They realise Rosen's he's not going to work for us. We've got one, we'll pick Murray.
Yeah. Yeah, so
anyone else that we missed there on the radar?
No, pretty much they're all Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, who's pick 2? Jets are on the clock pretty much.
Fields, Zach Wilson.
If Urban Meyer picks Lawrence, which he probably should,
Trey Lance.
I don't.
He doesn't take the job unless he's got Lawrence. That's part of it. Like you are picking Trevor Lawrence. It doesn't matter what's happening.
You'd build your whole franchise around him.
And that's Yeah.
Unless the Ohio State connection looked pretty good. His Buckeyes look good against Clemson.
They beat him up. Something solid.
Anyway, so finish up in some retirements. Two great tight ends actually. Greg Olsen and Jason Witten have both saying they're retiring. So Jason's going to sign a one-day contract with the Cowboys to officially retire a Cowboy, and Olsen retires. He's with
Seattle, I thought.
Seattle
Hawks, but I think of him more as the Cam Newton Panthers. He was a big part of that.
Oh, he's
good guy.
For very,
started with the Bears actually.
Yeah, he did too. Yeah,
member of the U as well. I reckon he was part of that. Ray Lewis and Reed connection.
He was playing outside linebacker on the team.
So that's good. Yeah, I mean, God, just Witten go back to the booth. He was a stinker at the Monday Night Football that year.
No, I think he's realised the booth's not for him.
I've made my
maybe
$100 million.
Yeah, maybe coaching's a better stick. In some bit of unfortunate news, Chad Wheeler, one offensive tackle for Seattle Seahawks, tried to kill his girlfriend.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, this was pretty straightforward.
It was pretty straightforward. I don't think there's any alleged. There's no alleged in this. It's a definite. So he's been cut by the Seahawks. Wish her all the best in her recovery.
Yep. $400,000 bail.
Yes, and
really.
It sounds like he needs help, and I don't want to. We're no doctors, and we don't want to kind of push the whole CTE thing, but they kind of lose your rocker a little bit like that. You never know.
There's more going on there.
Yeah. You look at I think it was it how it wasn't I've forgotten his name. DHB Harvest Bay. No, it's not.
Darius Howard Bay.
Yeah, did he?
Hayward Bay.
Was he the one that had a bit of a breakdown at the end of his career where he was breaking into places? I can't remember. There was a receiver around that time.
I do remember him being a first round pick and being an absolute bust.
There was an Al Davis. He can run fast. I want him.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So with no combine, the Senior Bowl's going on at the moment. Mm-hmm. There's also no Pro Bowl. They're playing Madden for the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which is mad. Sick.
I could be in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're playing. Snoop Dogg's in the Pro Bowl. Like he's playing in the tournament. So is Marshawn Lynch is in that tournament.
So the players aren't playing themselves in the Pro Bowl on Madden.
But they could do. It's definitely possible. But from a draft perspective, the Senior Bowl's probably the main thing that's happening. They've had 2 days of practice already. Some guys kind of already showing their wares, as would be. 2 interesting stories was the Alabama offensive lineman Deontay Brown. He weighed in at 364 pounds.
At 6'3", that is a big man.
Yeah,
it's a stocky human.
Because I think, is it the Jets tackle? Is it Bolton?
Mekhi Becton.
He weighed in the same, but he's 6'7".
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the man you put at left tackle, and then you don't have to worry about it because he can't be moved.
Brown is a big man.
What about the Mountain? Maybe someone should bring him in for a year and play right tackle or something.
Boxing off. Just stand
Maybe
here
a couple million
get pushed backwards.
Interesting note, though, as part of the measurement, Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner, didn't weigh in or get measured. He's got an injured finger, so he won't play in this game.
That's
but
right,
he was there.
You got that in that.
Half time of that game. It's pretty common to leave it for pro days because pro days are always a little bit. Combine's pretty straightforward because you've got everyone there looking.
Yeah.
Alabama are going to put an extra couple pounds in there for him because he's a slight human.
And I think the other thing is it buys him a couple extra weeks to maybe put on a few extra pounds.
Exactly
size
right.
too, so
look a bit bigger because that's.
He looks skinny.
He's you can't.
I think there's a bit of worried about his height too. The measure 6'1",
exactly
so
right. He's only 6'1",
that's why he's listed as. So if he measures,
he'll be 6'3" at pro day. Don't worry.
Or if he measures in at 5'11" and a bit 5'12".
I don't know. It's a big investment. Like if you're giving like Miami are rumored to get him. If you're giving a 180-pound guy, you're going to run across the middle over and over again.
Pick him between 5 and 10.
The height thing is.
Well, I mean,
for me, who cares? I suppose
wingspan's probably more important.
He gets open, and it's modern day NFL here. Like you would look at Tyreek Hill, he was a 6th round pick or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Antonio Brown, everyone passed on him.
Tyreek Hill did beat his missus before coming out, so that didn't help his situation.
That's always going to help. Devontae, when I know you're listening, please don't beat your missus. So I mean, wide receiver winning Heisman is very cool. Very cool when non-QBs win awards.
First time in 30 years, wasn't it?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yep, 91, I think.
So, I mean, I think that's buyer beware, really. But you look, God, Corey Davis was the 5th overround pick.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So,
Well, you go back to the tape. Like, you put the tape on, he's getting open and making Mac Jones' job look easy. So.
Well, to his receiving core at his senior year at Alabama, he had Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle, who some people think might go ahead of the Heisman winner. Yes. They were his 4 receivers.
So he had 2 guys that have already gone in the first round,
and 2 guys that
are most likely going to go in the first round.
Maybe Miami go, He looked good because he's surrounded by NFL players. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'll throw that one off you. Question without.
Well, that's the question around Mac Jones as well. Like,
Colt McCoy comparisons.
You've got NFL talent around you. Are you going to come out and?
But you know what happens when you get drafted in the NFL? You've got NFL talent around you. So that's always my big thing. Like,
good counter argument.
Unless you go to a team like the Jets or Jags.
Yeah, true. You've got
very mediocre NFL talent.
You got some Tuggerong tornadoes running around. Shout out to the NATOs.
Yeah, the NATOs. Rock 'em. Righty. Well, that'll wrap us up.
I think that'll wrap us up. Yes, that's everything.
3-hour slog.
Yes, gone through a lot. We covered cricket, NBA, NBL. Sorry,
NBL.
Really? EPL. Why did I fuck that up so bad? EPL. There was UFC, there was NRL, AFL chats, and of course the big chat about NFL. We'll go more into the Super Bowl next week. Thanks for coming out, Maga.
No, thanks for having me, boys. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for
jumping in.
Yeah, done well.
Thank you very much. Shout out to Canberra, Capital Brewing. Trying to get some sponsors on this show. So shout out Smithy and the boys over there.
Thanks to Great Northern as well.
Goodman, if you're listening, sports bet. Them, Great Northern. That'd be about it.
That'd be it. No, thanks.
Apple. Fucking clutching at straws here. And no, seriously, just to end it up, thank you to everyone that subscribed this last week and that watched the India-Australia review. It's nice to see that we are actually broadcasting to a few listeners. Hope you tell your friends.
Chat. Love the comments.
Yeah, keep commenting.
Love the feedback. Hopefully we did better.
Keep subscribing and keep roasting us.
Yes.
Please.
Appreciate
More skulls from Pepsi. Let us know.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.